right, welcome everybody. Put your hands together one more time. Fay-do-do! All right. First introduced in the 1961 Ian Fleming novel Thunderball, Spectre, an acronym for Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion, has become well known as the megalomaniac-laden organized crime syndicate hell-bent on world domination. It is led by the mysterious Ernst Stavro Blofeld, who himself has come to be known as the main antagonist to super spy James Bond 007. Thanks to producer Kevin McClory, who famously sued Ian Fleming in 1961, claiming ownership over elements of the novel Thunderball, the use of Spectre and its associated characters were off limits to all Eon productions. With 1971's Diamonds Are Forever being the last canon Bond film to officially feature Blofeld or the Spectre organization. However, in 2013, McClory's estate and MGM formally settled the issue, allowing MGM to acquire the full copyright film rights to the concept of Spectre and all characters associated with it once again, thus paving the way for Daniel Craig's Bond to square off with his arch-nemesis Blofeld after 44 long years of waiting. Initially declining the offer to return to the director's chair, Sam Mendes, hot off of directing Skyfall, which went on to become the most successful Bond film of all time by grossing over $1 billion, was eventually convinced to return for this film because he found the script and the plans for the long-term future of the franchise appealing. This marks the first time that a director has returned for back-to-back Bond films since John Glenn directed 5 consecutive films, ending with The Living Daylights and License to Kill in 1987 and 1989, respectively. With Daniel Craig receiving producer credit for the first time, this film takes us to such exotic locales as the Austrian Alps, the nighttime city streets of Rome, the deserts of Morocco, London's River Thames, and the famed Tulsa Square in Mexico City, where the breathtaking cold-open helicopter sequence was filmed. With all of that, plus the use of 2 unreleased concept cars, the Aston Martin DB10 and the Jaguar CX-75, this film went on to become the highest budgeted Bond film to date and one of the most expensive movies ever made at a reported budget of almost $300 million. The last Bond film to be distributed by MGM, released in November 2015, the film went on to gross over $880 million worldwide, critically receiving mixed to positive reviews, with some loving the return to a more action-oriented plotline, others knocking the script and pacing while praising the performances and cinematography. The real question for this film is, what did we think of it, and where will this film fall in Bondcast, James Bondcast's 00 ranking system? My name is Matt McGregor, and I'm here live from Fay-do-do in Los Angeles with my co-hosts and fellow Bond boys, Harris McCabe and Colin Shaw. Join us as we rate and review Daniel Craig's 4th film as the titular spy and the 24th official James Bond film in Eon's 007 series. This is 2015's Spectre. Let's give it up for Tim Got Rhymes. This is his new song. Woo!
Welcome, James. It's been a long time. And finally, here we are.
In a second, I'm going to bring out my co-hosts. First up, the lovely, the tall, Mr. Harris McCabe. And next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Colin Shaw. Looking dapper. And I'm Matt McGregor. I think I said that earlier. All right.
Hello.
All right, here we are.
Here we are.
Welcome, everybody.
Live.
Welcome to our first live podcast.
Thank you so much for coming.
Matt, you did so good.
Oh, thanks, guys.
He's almost never nailed that in
when we do
anywhere near one take.
Yeah.
So
When we do it by ourselves, he messes up and he's like,
I just twitch uncontrollably.
yeah. Twitch and swear, and somehow we patch it together in the edit.
So for those of you who don't know, we do this podcast once a month, and we have been doing it since October of 2017. Our plan was to do one Bond film a month, leading up to the release of Bond 25. It was unnamed at the time, and the timing was going to work out perfectly because its original release date was supposed to be November 8th, which is tomorrow. So it would have been. We
We would have
perfect.
nailed it.
Yeah, but they had problems behind the scenes. They lost a director. He didn't die. He said he wasn't going to do it.
He got
anymore.
lost.
Yeah,
They didn't wanna find
He's
him.
literally lost in the woods. And so they pushed it back to April. So now it's called No Time to Die. It's coming out in April, and we have a bunch of filler episodes that we need to make some
It's
shit
just going to
up
be crap.
for. Yeah,
Don't listen to any of them.
it's just reruns.
Oh, just kidding. It's going to be great, and you guys
Yes.
should
We
definitely
have some solid material
listen to
we're
all of
working
them.
on.
Yeah. So here we are. And this is the last released Bond film until that movie.
So we are officially up to date as of the end of this podcast with all of the Bond films and the canon Bond, and actually a couple of non-canon ones.
Yeah. So what we do is we assume you guys are all James Bond super fans, and you've all seen the movie.
I'm just curious, who has seen Spectre in this room? Oh, a lot of hands going up, which means that we kind of are missing
the at-home
the,
listeners can't see your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
Kind of-
about 4,000 of the 6,000 people.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, many people.
I'd say 4,500.
Yeah. They're surprisingly quiet for a group this large.
It's
They're polite,
you know,
Matt. Give them a break.
Yeah. That's our audience, polite. So who hasn't seen this movie?
I'm just going to describe the 6 or 7 hands.
Yeah, that was like the other 2,000.
Yeah.
It's like
I saw
shameful.
several people very clearly ashamed to raise their hand.
Yeah, and I love that we still we're still not doing the clapping thing. This is good. Just stay silent, guys. We'll just we're gonna pipe in some canned audience applause later, like a sitcom.
Like the Flintstones.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we get the noise it makes when they start their car? You know, like like when Scooby-Doo runs away, like
Oh, yeah,
Scooby-Doo.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll throw that in post.
we just
I don't
get
know why
that?
we don't have that queued up all the time.
So as I was saying, we assume you've all seen the movie, which is obvious to me now, and so we don't really go through the plot beat for beat. We sort of just talk about the highlights and lowlights of the movie, and there are many in this.
Yeah, and you had a pretty. Usually we talk a little bit about who made the movie, but you had a pretty comprehensive introduction here. I think the Sam Mendes thing coming back was interesting, and I guess the only real big replacement or thing to talk about is that we have Hoyt van Hoytema. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Who is he's filling in for Roger Deakins did Skyfall, which we all unanimously
Yeah,
said
we thought that was real good.
that's the best looking James Bond movie ever, and I don't know that there's a whole lot of
I'm sorry,
competition.
the guy's name is Hoytema?
Hoyt van
Hoyt
Hoytema.
Van Hoytema. It's fancy as hell.
Van
That's
Hoytema.
That's a fancy and repetitive name.
He's like, where's he from? Like, I don't know.
I think
Czechoslovakia or
Oh,
something.
not even America. Wow.
That sounds cool. My favorite thing he did was when... My favorite thing he did was when he had the light behind Blofeld, so you couldn't tell who he was. He was just a shadowy figure.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. But you know, he does a lot of Christopher. He does a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff. You like that he did. You like the stuff that he didn't like.
Yeah. Whatever you were saying was cool, Colin. Moving on.
Well, I mean, we are going to cover that scene at some point. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's good.
It's funny because that's actually one of those scenes that looks more like a Roger Deakins scene because
Yeah.
Hoyt tends to be a little more brightly lit and a little more evenly lit,
Yeah.
and Roger Deakins tends to be a little more shadowy, and that looks like a Deakins scene, sort of.
Yeah,
We're
I
going to
agree.
talk some real nerdy shit on this podcast.
I like the way that you can tell from their shadows that they're sitting at a table.
The table's all CGI. They couldn't get an actual table that
They
large.
couldn't find a table.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned it. Sam Mendes, director of American Beauty and what else?
And other things.
Other things, yeah. He
wait.
A bunch of road movies, Road to Perdition, Revolutionary Road.
They
Yeah.
sent someone out for the table, but they didn't have the legs for it.
Oh. Wow. This is the kind of comedy
rough
you
stuff.
guys should brace yourselves for.
Yeah, it's rough stuff.
Colin is well known for this sort of behavior. So Sam Mendes directed Skyfall, and it went on to be the most successful James Bond movie. It's the only one to break $1 billion. So they unloaded a dump truck full of cash on his front lawn and said, "Please do this again for us." But he didn't want to initially, and so I think you could kind of feel it in this movie that it's like everything is just sort of.
I've got so many.
I didn't feel
Yeah.
that. I was interested in what you said about he liked where the franchise was going, the direction they were going.
Well, that's
which is
what
two
it
more
said
movies,
on
right?
some website where I read the information
Okay,
from.
I've got a theory about that though, because I think and this is going to tip my hand a little bit about how I feel about this movie, but I complained about Skyfall in that it has too much to do with James Bond and his past and his history, and I feel like there's this thing, this idea that like it's got to have some that the story has to have some personal relationship to Bond in order to be important and to be conceived as like worthwhile drama. And I feel like they sort of shoehorned that into this plot a little bit in a way
that's what Mendes was interested in?
I do think that's something that like
strange.
might have been what hooked him a little bit, is he thought they were going to break away from it, and it actually, this almost functions as a sequel to Skyfall in a lot of ways.
And they tried to, for those few of you who haven't seen this movie, they tried to tie all of Daniel Craig's movies together in this one. Like, it clearly wasn't planned from the beginning, and this movie, they like tried to make it like it was planned out from the beginning.
They do a lot with that.
Yeah.
They throw a lot of pictures of people from the other movies like right up in your face.
Yeah, it's not
annoying.
done in
It's
the
so
classiest way.
In fact,
but
there's a scene where he's walking around and there's pictures of people from the other movies taped up on the wall.
And
he
we'll
just
get to
looks
that.
at
And
them.
like their headshots and stuff. Anyways, let's talk about, we have a gun barrel at the beginning, which isn't a common thing for the Craig movies.
Right.
So
so that's when he comes out and he turns and he shoots at the screen and the blood drips down. You guys
Yes,
know.
the gun
Yeah.
barrel.
Gun
So
barrel.
so they've been throwing them at the end of the movie in some of these Craig movies, which was an unusual choice and something they never did before. We have this one right
I
up
don't
front, like the old classic movies, and this is in a way kind of a throwback movie because they've introduced all the familiar characters, Q and Moneypenny and M, and in a lot of ways those relationships go back to like the status quo of what we've seen classically in the Bond movies, which the Craig Casino
like that
Royale
stuff.
being a reboot. They sort of reinvented the character. They didn't have a lot of those elements, and they've slowly woven them back in.
Reintroduced, yeah.
And now they're all there. So this is sort of, in a way, the most traditional Bond movie of the Craig era.
Right.
I like that part.
Yeah, we're like back to square one kind of.
And then we have a cold open, which this one opens with a oneer. It's
awesome.
one continuous unbroken take. It also opens with a title card, which I thought was weird. It says "The Dead Are Alive."
Do you have that in here? Does it
Yes,
start
I
with that?
do.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm just
and
gonna play it.
We're gonna
We have
play
a
it.
projector screen for the audience
says
here
the-
live with us.
The Dead Are Alive, and it's kind of an odd. It's a weird. That's just a weird thing to have.
The
in a
Dead Are
Bond
Alive.
movie.
It puts you in the mood, you know?
Does it?
Like, are we?
Does it?
Where are we
It
going?
made
oh,
me
we're
ask
at
a
Day
lot
of
of
the Dead.
questions. But
So maybe
so
there's
this-
people out there who don't know that Day of the Dead is a celebration of this size and caliber, and they're
Well,
like,
actually, funny tidbit is that Mexico doesn't actually have a Day of the Dead parade. This is something that's totally Hollywood did into this movie.
And they have thousands of these are they obviously didn't
They
shoot
did a
this
lot
at a
of-
real event. This is thousands of extras, hundreds of wardrobe and makeup people.
yeah, there was a lot of work for a costumer,
Yep.
like a lot.
You'll also notice this isn't actually a continuous oneer. We're going to point out a couple of cuts in here.
Yeah, so it's like a
as they
faux
happen.
oneer.
Yeah, there's 3 cuts that they hide. They hide them pretty well, but they're kind of obvious if you're looking for them. Now, and I also want to point out James Bond here. We see him in his Skeleton Man suit.
His Baron Samedi.
Yeah, his Baron Samedi suit. And he's
I
got
remember
this-
watching this, and I just kept asking myself, is it him? Is it not him? Is it him? Is it not him? I think it's him. Wait, it could be a different guy.
Maybe
Well,
the camera's
I'm
just
I'm pretty
zooming
sure
in
it's
on.
him.
It's a James Bond movie. Maybe the camera's just zooming in on some random dude.
Yeah.
Just
Well, first they
wandering
show
through
the
the
guy
could be
in
a
the
random
white
dude.
suit, so it could be him, but he's got a
He's got a ponytail.
Yeah.
If James Bond ever had a ponytail, I might have to stop watching the movies. No offense, no offense, Colin.
What if they went that way?
So here's the first cut. Here's the first cut right here. that
We
zooms
zoom in on this poster.
Right there. There
And they
was
make a
some
little
kind of
cut going up
cut.
the stairs. It's actually, they did a similar cut in Birdman, zooming in on a poster and hit a cut in the same thing. We're going to see a second cut here coming up as they're walking into the hotel room building. There's a guy who comes and wipes frames. That'll be the second one. I just want to also point out, just get a load of Craig's outfit here, because that'll come into
Awesome.
play later. He's wearing a black shirt. He's wearing a black
Yeah, the under part of the
bone-style tie.
that could be part of it. It could tear away.
Yes, this is because we'll get a quick change in a
Like
moment.
if the jacket just has a little bit of shirt,
A
just
lot of
up in
Velcro.
the
You're saying
chest
he's wearing
part.
stripper clothes, is what you're telling me. Is
Of
that
course
James
he's wearing stripper clothes.
Bond- He looks so dapper,
He's-
but little do you know that James Bond is always
Who's
wearing.
that woman?
James Bond is always wearing.
Why is he
stripper
with her?
You're
clothes.
saying the next cut comes when the guy crosses frame?
Yeah, I believe it does. Yeah, so they get out of the elevator, and we don't. This is all continuous, and I think it's interesting they got.
Ready, here it comes.
Here it comes. The guy's
Oh, yeah,
going
right there.
cross frame, and that's a cut. Now, those two cuts were probably because of the length of the shot and where they had to bring the camera, so it just makes sense to cut there. This next one is on the whip pan from the girl in the bed to Bond, and this serves two purposes. One, we're going to see the quick change that we were talking about, where Bond goes from wearing this very elaborate suit with a shirt and a tie and the whole deal.
It tears away. There's a little button right up under the faux tie.
Watch how
And
quick he
just-
changes.
It pops.
Ready?
at
He's
that point.
out of frame now. One,
One,
two, three.
Not
four,
only is he in a
five,
different suit when we come
six,
back.
7, 8, 9, 10. I could have changed this fast. This is a long time. Look, he's got
Boom.
a different
Totally
suit on.
different shirt,
different
tie.
shirt, different tie. Also a machine gun. Where did the machine gun come from? The other reason they had to hide a cut there is because they had to get the camera onto a crane
So
to move
if
it
he's-
outside the window.
If
Now they
he's
don't
with-
cut.
If he's with that woman to access that room, does that mean the gun was planted in the room by the woman or him?
Because she clearly led him to the room.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the logistics.
It's
of
an expensive suite. Maybe it comes with the gun.
Yeah. An
must be it.
AR-15 in every suite. Yeah, and
are
this
you-
is all actually all filmed.
Will you
And
be
this
staying
is-
in the gun suite again, sir?
when you when you watch him behind the scenes footage, he is actually walking on the edge of the roof. I'm sure they have tons of
Yeah, this
safety
is really
precautions there.
him doing it.
But that you can tell this is a very elaborate crane shot, taking him all the way to the other side.
What is in between those two roofs that are like one step away from each other?
I have-
Spikes.
I
Like
have
what do you
no idea.
use that alley for? Like the trash man can't.
It's like a
access
video
that, can he?
game.
And
There's
like I don't think
spikes.
that's something they built for the movie, which means that is
Right.
actually a real thing.
Like
where
what is that alley for?
they
Like the
built that-
garbage
yeah.
man can't get in there.
It's for rats. It's
It's
mostly
just for rats. We're growing some rats here.
Yeah, and now we'll see. It'll cut away in a second here, and this is the end of the fantastic oneer.
There's the cut right there.
Yeah, and
Woo! Ow! Yeah.
they're silent when we're talking, but as soon as they see a clip of a movie, they're like, "Yay,
They thought-
movies!"
they're like, "Is it over?
Why
the
don't we just
show?"
screen the film? Let's just get out of here." But it's interesting that he hears that whole conversation. He's got his little mic. He's got his little directional mic mounted on the gun, so he can hear what they're saying. And then
You thought that was a microphone? See, I thought that was a receiver from a planted microphone.
oh, well, it looks like a microphone to me, but
I mean, anything is possible at this point.
I guess this is obviously a lot of
Because
precaution has gone
the
into
first
this.
thing we know is no one can change clothes that fast in real life. So from there, the possibilities are open.
But he's there specifically to kill this guy.
Yes.
What's the guy's name?
Skiara.
Skiara.
Which actually should be pronounced Shiara.
Oh yeah.
I read that.
How do you know that? Oh,
Because I'm
okay.
Italian, eh?
Wait, She-Ra?
What?
She-Ra, yes,
Yeah.
he's there to kill
Like from the
She-Ra.
Thundercats?
Yeah. So yeah, he shoots
not right.
he shoots the briefcase that they're dealing with, and there's a bomb inside.
But if he's there to kill the one guy, why doesn't he?
Because he
just
hears
shoot.
he overhears them saying they're going to blow up a stadium later
Yeah.
that day, and they're going to kill all these people.
That's
So-
more understandable than they never really explain what the stadium blowing up plan is for.
Yeah.
Like what does Spectre gain from blowing up stadiums?
Well-
Because they're setting up all these acts of terrorism to validate the Nine Eyes program. That
They're trying to get
Oh.
this Patriot
I didn't
Act
catch that.
program
I didn't get
enacted.
that.
And so they're doing these acts of terrorism all around the world to get all the countries that could contribute to this Patriot Act style program of invasive.
Because they
it's like
talk
a Big
about their other
Brother
plans.
kind of
They
a
talk
thing.
about the
Yeah.
human trafficking, and they talk about
well, they got their hands on a lot of.
controlling
They got their hands on their fingers on a lot of pies there.
Yeah.
What was that other resource? Oh, all the drugs in sub-Saharan Africa. They
Yes.
talk about controlling that.
Yeah, the sub-Saharan African drugs.
They're like,
but
Yeah, go ahead.
but my question was, he doesn't shoot the briefcase first. He doesn't shoot the guy that he's supposed to kill first. As soon as the people see that his little laser sight is in the cloud of smoke, he
Well, they
immediately
start shooting at him.
he's like zeroed in on the dude he's supposed to kill, and he immediately switches over and shoots some other dude.
Who's
And
going to
it's-
shoot him? That's
yeah,
why he has
it's
to do
basically. But if he's there to kill the guy, you'd think he'd take that
you gotta
shot first.
You got to
Yeah.
shoot who's shooting at you first.
We know from past experience and from later experience in this movie that Bond can shoot two people in a matter of like a half a second. So
Yeah, well, there is that one part later in this movie
where he shoots two guys
where
simultaneously.
he shoots down a helicopter with a handgun from a boat.
He is clearly a good shot. So I sort of reject the idea if his whole idea is to shoot this one dude, why does he shoot anybody else first? Why not shoot that one dude first? And the answer is, of course, because he's got to have an exciting chase of this guy after he fails to kill him.
The best
Exactly.
part is when he lands on the couch.
I've got a question about that too. So I've got a lot of problems. So I'm already having huge problems with this movie, but I go to Colin to explain these things.
Yeah.
So he shoots explosives that are enough explosives to blow up a stadium in this building that is across the street from him.
And it doesn't
somehow,
immediately
not only
kill
does it
him.
not kill him, it doesn't even kill the guy who's in the room with the explosive.
Yeah.
We don't know what it was a stadium for. It could have been like a cockfight stadium.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
It is
right?
That's good
Mexico.
enough for me.
Cockfights, right?
That is good enough for me. I accept that.
That's their national sport,
So
is it not?
They're going to blow up a small cockfighting arena,
Yeah.
and instead they blow up the building, which collapses and almost kills Bond, and then he falls onto the couch, which I agree is
It's awesome.
Is awesome. Yes.
But I mean, okay, so he's.
I wish he had done the like shoulder brush off after he got.
But he
up.
does.
Doesn't
He
he?
does give this little facial gesture, like, well, he fixes his jacket when he stands up. But the first thing he does is give this little weird facial gesture, and he has like a wall sconce in his hand. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's clinging to a wall sconce,
Yeah.
and he sort of throws it to the side and like stands up. This isn't the funniest Bond movie, but it's definitely of the Craig movies. It's the one that tries the hardest to be funny.
Yeah.
It's
There's
the best.
Jokes on jokes. They're jokes on jokes, and they
So he
just,
chases
The couch
this
is so
guy.
Few of them
comfortable.
work.
He's holding a sconce. And, sconce is. I mean, just the word sconce.
It is a funny word.
That's
Imagine saying sconce in the wrong situation.
this is what I have to deal with.
So he chases the guy to the town square or whatever, and where he radios in for a helicopter, and he gets on the helicopter, and he thinks he's home free, but Bond is right on his tail. He punches a dude, or he doesn't punch him. He whacks him
Hits him
with
with a cane.
A cane, yeah.
He grabs a cane from a random guy who's standing around, like it's like a Day of the Dead skeleton cane. But how does he know it's not like a prop cane that's made
Yeah,
of
like a
plastic or
Halloween
something, or
prop.
full of
It's made
candy?
of, yeah, it's full of
And what if the
candy.
guy needs
What if
the
he hit the
cane
guy
to
in like
stand?
yeah? What if he hit the
He
guy in like
immediately
candy
gets
corn?
distracted
guy
by
over.
like Snickers, and he starts picking them up.
The kids run out. They're like, "Yay, Snickers!"
I'm surprised they had this whole scene and not one churro.
Oh my god.
It's very.
I'm serious. I would like to see that version of this movie where they cut to Bond and he's like eating a churro. He's lifting his
running
mask
through the
to,
crowd
like,
chasing a guy, but he's like he grabs a churro.
Oh,
And
you should use it as a weapon.
Yeah,
Come on.
there you go.
yeah, if you whack a guy with a churro, that would make a lot.
That would
more
be
sense.
hilarious. He grabs the churro out of some kid's hand.
I'm
He's
sorry,
like,
senor. I'm sorry, senor. My churros are very dry.
He's like, he's got no problem
It's
with
all
that.
right. I'll use it to hit him.
What accent was that? No, keep going. I want to hear it.
It's all right, I'm James Bond. I use churros to hit.
Nicely done.
So what happens next? They get on the
We
helicopter.
get the helicopter stunt flying.
Which is probably the coolest part of the whole movie.
This might be it's definitely the best stunt in the whole movie. We have like, when I was watching it the first time, I was like, wait, this helicopter's like doing corkscrews and loop-de-loops and stuff, and I'm like,
This can't be real.
I've seen this on Airwolf, but I'm pretty sure Airwolf wasn't a documentary. So
Airwolf?
Air,
Is that one of the Air Buddies movies?
No, it's like it's a helicopter TV show with Jan Michael Vincent. I think it's maybe before your time.
So there's not dogs flying helicopters.
Harris was in his
That might
30s
have-
when it was on.
That might have improved it. But anyways, the helicopter did flips, and
Yeah,
this
well,
helicopter also does flips.
They hired a guy who's like,
Who does
that's
helicopter
his thing.
flips.
Yeah.
They couldn't shoot it in Mexico City though because the air's too thin.
Well, what I read is that they, rather than shoot the location and just CGI the helicopter on top, they had another helicopter and they shot down on the helicopter and then they green screened in the location. They like filled in the location, which is insane. They thought that would look.
It looks really cool.
I mean, it looks
does
great.
look good.
Yeah.
It does look good.
This looks less CGI than other parts of the movie for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
When
It
they
looks
blow
really
up
good.
the building, that doesn't look real to me.
I don't know if I'm like desensitized or something though, because it is a good helicopter fight, but it didn't really. There was a point at which it didn't really grab me. Like the helicopter stunts were cool, but the actual fight in the, I think I'm like at the point where I know that he's not going to die. So the stakes are
You
very
never
low.
know.
I'm like, I don't think they're going to kill off Daniel Craig in the opening act of the movie. So he's
Wouldn't
probably
that
going
be
to find
surprising,
a way.
though?
Yeah, it definitely would.
But the stuff they do with that chopper, I mean, loop-de-loops,
Yeah, it does like a full
and
on
corkscrews.
corkscrews,
Yeah. Back to that.
everything.
All right. What's next on
But
your?
he starts a fight inside a helicopter when the helicopter is still really close to a stadium amount of people.
Yeah, and he's very cavalier about it. Like at one point, it's like the pilot is going to crash the helicopter, and he's more concerned with choking the guy out than potentially saving them both.
Yeah, we have to believe he knew what he was doing, but
Well, it all worked out in the end.
So how does it end?
It ends with the opening titles.
Well, he looks at something.
He
Oh.
beats up all the other
I
people.
think we actually have
Yeah,
that here.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's taken a ring off Sciarra, and it is of course the Spectre ring with the octopus on it, and that brings us to our opening title sequence.
But if you look closely, he saw that Sciarra used the ring to introduce himself in the previous scene,
Yeah.
and that's easy to miss.
I just
so
want to say
it can be
here, I want to
confusing.
draw everyone's attention to something here. we have a naked, oiled up Daniel Craig here.
Yeah.
And
This isn't the part with the nips, though. The nips is
I
later.
believe this is the first time Bond has ever been naked in one of his opening title sequences. Of course, it's a trope to have a lot of naked
Finally.
ladies
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
You only
And-
see him from belly button up, though.
Well, listen, you can go back and listen to the Casino Royale podcast to hear me wax poetic about Daniel Craig's physique. So I'm not objecting to the beefcake in general. It's just odd that in the movie where he keeps his clothes in the most, we have this gratuitous topless shots at the beginning, and there's just so much oil, and he looks so serious.
That's a lot of oil.
And
I
it's
like
not
the
really
parts
relevant
with
to
the I
plot.
like the parts with the octopus arms, like grabbing the bodies of the
This
ladies.
part looks cool. I
Yeah,
like
this is cool
this.
stuff.
I'm not sure what is this, Matt, for the folks at home.
The boobs.
Octopus arms.
It's octopuses and naked ladies, and I'm kind of exhausted by the CGI animation and stuff, and we've talked about this.
This is the
before.
world we live in now, Harris.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it with construction paper like the old days.
Not until
right, this is-
Michel Gondry does his Bond movie.
Yeah, this is what I
Augmented
hate. I
papier-mâché
hate when they
animals.
show clips from previous movies.
And we have all like the recurring. Oh, there's Eva Green. I remember her.
Yeah, again with the showing a bunch of faces of people who are in other movies.
Okay, so I want to move on to
Do not
this-
forget, the movies are connected.
talk about this song a little bit. So until I saw his name in the credits, the only Sam Smith I know wrote a famous book about Michael Jordan. I am shocked.
It's the same guy.
I am. It might be. I am shocked, just floored, that a person named Sam Smith was allowed to become a famous musician without having to change his name. Back in the old days, if you had a lame name like that, you had to change it to something cool like Prince or Mick Jagger. You weren't allowed to just become famous with a name like Sam Smith. So
His real
please,
name's Walter.
one of you, one of you, explain to me who is Sam Smith.
So I've met Sam Smith, I believe.
You believe?
So when I was driving an Uber and I picked up a guy who looked like Sam Smith.
What does Sam Smith look like, just in case I see him somewhere?
Like a white
I
guy.
feel like he wears
Oh,
eyeliner.
well that narrow. So you picked up a white guy in your Uber.
Yeah, I like, all joking aside, I'm like really pretty sure he was Sam Smith. He had on a hat, so like that covered the forehead part, which is when you're distinguishing someone's appearance, you kind of need the forehead for like that definitive, like I know that's the forehead I know. But I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was British. And he used the name either, I believe it was Fred, and I looked up on Wikipedia, and his middle name is Fred. And he was like, I'm British, I'm in the music industry, like, what kind of music do you like? Do you
Was
like...
he giving you clues? Like, were you playing a guessing game?
Yeah.
I'm famous.
I actually do feel like he was a little disappointed I didn't recognize him because we had a real conversation. You know what I mean? He was like, okay,
who's like a
all
co-
right, I'll talk to this guy.
Who's like a competing musician that you could have played while you're
Well,
like, hey, I love this guy.
that's exactly what happened. Is he was like, what kind of music do you like or whatever? And I was like, oh yeah, for like stuff from the UK, I like
Anything
churches.
but Britpop.
Yeah, no, I like churches. And he was like, yeah, I've heard of them and stuff. And like, but like.
He just gave you dirty
But
looks.
he was, but he was obviously like, maybe you have. I wish he had been like, have you heard of Sam Smith?
All right, Colin, that did not help.
I'm
Matt,
really sure
Matt,
it was him,
please,
though.
who is Sam Smith?
He sings "Stay With Me." Do you know that song? Stay with me. That's all I know.
Do it.
Wow.
Get
It
it.
also sounds remarkably like "Don't Back Down."
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Did he get
Tom
sued for that?
He did, and
Oh.
actually, what he did was he just gave Tom Petty co-writing credit on the song to avoid a lawsuit.
Fascinating.
That's
I'm
pretty
not
dope.
sure if I know that song, but I will take it. I will take your word for it that he is famous. I didn't. This was another. When I first heard this song, I sort of had the same reaction as I did to the Adele song in the last episode, which was.
Sucks.
Well, no, not this sucks, but that it's like we've heard these ballads. Like Bond songs can be a lot of different things. Sometimes they're really like just pop music or rock music or whatever, and then sometimes there are these kind of ballad songs. And I feel like Sheryl Crow did a good one, Shirley Manson did a good one, Adele did a good one, but it didn't really distinguish itself. And I was like, yeah, I guess they're just doing the ballad thing again. And then like over the next, like after I watched the movie, for the next few days when I was like around the house vacuuming or making dinner or something, I found myself being like, how do I live?
I would pay money to see that.
I would love to see you singing to your vacuum.
Yeah.
I picture you like
No, I'm mostly singing my cats.
flushing
he has no shirt on. He's oiled up like Daniel Craig.
Yeah. No, so it is actually really catchy. I like this one better than the Adele one.
It's no big deal. I had to vacuum, but I saw that Daniel Craig was doing the oil thing, so I figured I'd
Yeah,
oil
just-
myself up for vacuuming.
It's good for your skin.
So, should we recap the rest of the plot?
Wait, what do you think about the song, Matt?
I think it's good. I mean, it won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Hot
Okay.
take.
Great non-opinion
I
there.
find that some of them are like definitive Bond songs, and then some of them break through to become actual songs that like people will listen to.
What is
you
this
know,
one?
Yeah.
when they're not watching James Bond movies. I feel like this is a James Bond song. It
Okay.
didn't quite break through.
No one's
I
listening
kind
at
of
home
feel
by
I feel the
themselves,
opposite.
without-
I feel like Skyfall for me is I know it was a hit and everything, but for me
Well,
that's
see, like
that's
that one
just
was
a
on
Bond
the
song.
radio and stuff.
This
like,
one feels like
remember.
I would listen to the song because it's hooked in my head now and I sing it to my cats.
Yeah.
I would listen to the song, outside of watching a Bond movie. So.
For me, when it first starts, I'm like, this is lame, whatever.
But
And
it
by the
gets
end of
better.
it, I'm like, I cannot stop thinking about the melody.
It's got a hook,
Yeah.
which is what Skyfall I didn't feel like really had.
How does it go, Colin?
The writing's on the wall.
Wow.
Nailed it. Yeah. So
Is it hot in here?
I got a question for you guys. So we've had ballads two movies in a row. Is this a sign that and they've both been very successful, both commercially and they won awards? Is this a sign that we are in for like just ballads in James Bond? Like, are we going to see another
Well,
Alicia Keys Jack White fiasco or
yeah, 'cause it
or a nice
started-
Chris Cornell rocker? I feel like we're not going to see another.
I think they're bringing
we're not
Chris
gonna see
Cornell
another-
back. He's gonna do it.
Oh, I don't think we're gonna see another Madonna club jam anytime in the near future. But like those are the previous three movies, and now we've got these ballads. So is it all gonna be ballads here on out? We know Hollywood does not like change when they found something that works.
The rumor on the street is that Dua Lipa is gonna do the song.
I started that rumor though,
Fascinating.
so it could be totally wrong.
Yeah, you started the
I
rumor.
didn't.
I
I don't know. I don't know what Dua Lipa is.
I'd be
either, so you gotta
interested
explain
in.
that
I'd
to
be
me.
interested in
Is that a
seeing
person?
some kind of.
I think so.
Yes.
Do you know the Dua Lipa song?
It
I
sounds
don't-
like it would be two people though, like Dua.
No, one
does
person
anyone
with two
know how
different things
any
going
of her
on, like
songs
the
go?
dual Lipa.
Oh, both Lipas. So, but only one of them is singing the song.
Wait, hold on.
Maybe it's
Does-
one person
can,
with two faces.
Can anyone sing the song?
What song?
She has more than one song, I assume.
Oh, a Dua Lipa song?
Anybody?
Does anyone know a Dua
Help
Lipa
from the
song?
audience? No, nobody here knows it. So this is clearly going to be a
Cultureless.
great. Yeah, no, this is clearly going to be a great Bond song.
Wait, I think I saw a hand. Do you want to sing a Dua Lipa
Just
song?
sing the hook. Just like catch us up to speed. How does it go?
If you claim you know a Dua Lipa song and you're not willing to sing it, I call you a liar.
For what though?
Sheila for lying about knowing a Dua Lipa song? I don't know. I don't think she won anything for that. She wins my scorn, Sheila. My scorn for claiming you know something.
Oh, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's a song about rules, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Oh.
All right. I might have heard
Rules.
that. All right.
Okay, it's a bop.
It's a bop.
A bop.
Those of you listening at home, it is officially a bop.
Speaking of bops, let's have Colin recap the. We do a segment on the show where Colin
Colin's
recaps
going
the
to tell you
entire
everything you
plot
need to know about Spectre.
in under 2 minutes.
I'm going to do my best. Sometimes I fail. I failed a few times.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
On your mark, get set, go.
So we see Bond at the, we already talked about it. We saw him at the Day of the Dead. There's a big parade, and he follows a guy. He tries to kill him, and he messes up, but then he kills him anyways and flies a helicopter away from it. When he gets back, M's really mad. He's like, look, dude, what the hell were you doing out there? I don't even know what you were doing out there, and you flew a helicopter all around. People saw you. And he's like, no big deal, man. And he's like, okay, you're grounded. And then some other guy comes in. He's like, oh, I'm important now. I do all the intelligence crap. I'm like, and Bond's like, I'm gonna call you letter C. So then he goes to Q branch, and Q's like, hey, we got some stuff, but you can't have anything. We just got a tracker to keep track of you. And then he's like, Q, you can't keep track of me. You need to lose me. And he's like, okay, whatever. Then he talks to Moneypenny, and he's like, look, M told me to find that guy and kill him, and that's what I'm doing. So he goes to the funeral for the guy, and he has sex with his widow. And then he's like, hey, what's going on here? And she's like, there's a secret organization. You got to check it out. So he goes to the big meeting at midnight. And it turns out there's a guy there who knows him, and he's like, hey, James, you're here. And he's like, oh, fuck, I was not supposed to, this is not how it's supposed to be right now. And then he gets in a car, and there's a car chase, and they he gets away because he's JB. And then Fuck.
You got less than a minute.
Fuck. So after that, he's like, I gotta figure out what's going on here. Where does he go next?
It goes to
Oh, Mr.
Austria.
White. Mr. White.
Oh yeah, he's like, I gotta figure out what's going on. Mr. White's connected to this, so he goes to Mr. White, who's in a house in the middle of nowhere. Mr. White's like, I'm basically dead already. I'm gonna kill myself right in front of you. And then he does it. And he's like, oh, but like, take care of my daughter though. And he's like, goes after the daughter. He takes care of her. Spectre tries to kill both of them. Spectre's the evil organization. And then he's like, oh, this shit's really bad. We gotta figure it out. They go like hang out and have sex or whatever. And then they're like, you know, like, we'll go find Blofeld's lair, and they go to like who's the leader, and they find his lair, and then they blow it up and fuck it all up. But then they got to go back to London, and Blofeld's still alive, and they set a trap, and Blofeld set a trap, and they got to take down the guy C from the beginning, the guy with the important whatever, because he was really a Spectre guy the whole time. And then they take him down, and then he like foils the trap, and then he takes down a helicopter with a handgun, and then he beats Blofeld.
Went a
everyone,
little
and he
over.
gets away.
Went a little
That was
over.
like 30 seconds.
We should have like a buzzer or something.
Yeah.
I think I did okay.
No. don't applaud this. This is failure. This is failure.
That was probably
boos
the
you
worst
hear are
I've
not
ever
live.
seen.
Well, I would like to say it was a valiant attempt, Colin, but it was not.
What was that? Like 2 minutes and a half?
Sad stuff. It was a little. It went a little over. All right.
I feel
But
like
now-
everyone
But
understands
now
what
everyone's
happened,
on the.
though.
Well, now at least everyone in our audience is on the same page. So
Right,
we all
they
know.
know
Is there anyone out there who
100% what
doesn't
happened.
understand what happens in the movie? No one's raising their
Nobody raised their hands
Of
there
all
at all.
6,000 people,
Yeah, all
no hands.
6,000 people, not a single hand up. Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
We could talk about. Let's talk about some of the characters in this movie. We could talk about the Bond girls first. You want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk
we've
about
got
those
a lot of Bond girls.
ladies.
Yeah, we got. First, we got Estrella, who we kind of already talked about. I don't know if there's that much
We
more
saw
to
Estrella?
talk
her,
about.
we saw her
Estrella.
entire.
Is she the girl in the
She's
mask?
the girl in the mask who we see at the beginning. She's an actress. She's actually from Mexico, so it
I'm
makes
disappointed
sense.
we didn't see more of her.
She was in a movie called Miss Bala, which was pretty good. I don't know anything else she's done, but she was, I will say, underutilized in this. She's got one line, but you know.
Yeah. Hey. She got paid $17 million for that one.
Are you?
Is
that true? Oh my god.
to make out with Daniel Craig for 5 seconds and deliver one line. Yeah, and then we've got Lucia Sciarra,
Yep.
played by the lovely Monica Bellucci.
I thought we were on girls.
She's a girl.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, she's a girl. Yeah, you'll know
What
her
more
from-
do you need to know? She's a girl.
She's from Bram Stoker's Dracula, Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is a secret deep cut movie that I love, kung fu French movie, Irreversible, a couple of Matrix movies.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
bad
she's
ones.
the wife of the Merovingian in the Matrix, correct?
Yes.
See, I know what we were talking
Wow,
about now.
you know the Merovingian.
The Merovingian.
So you saw those
He
movies.
gets
So you're the guy who
makes
saw those. You're the
he
guy who
makes
saw
the
those
digital
movies more
cake
than once.
orgasm.
Yeah.
What?
Just save that for when we cover the Matrix trilogy.
Okay,
I'm never
well.
covering the Matrix trilogy. I refuse. I put my foot down.
Why not?
She's also the oldest Bond girl.
At
A
50
Bond
years
woman,
old,
if
she
you
was
will.
the oldest Bond girl. And I really like the scene where he follows her back to her apartment, and she's got a couple killers that are waiting for her because basically her husband dies, Bond kills him.
And now
and
she's got to go because
yeah,
she's,
Spectre thinks she knows too much, so
yeah.
they're going to kill her. And she basically tells Bond, you screwed me here because now I'm going to get killed because of you. So he follows her back to her place, and there's a couple of assassins waiting for her. He kills them, and then he pours her some champagne, and we think we're going to have like a nice scene, and she's not having it. She's like, you're still a dick. I still hate you.
But I will have sex with
And
you
he
now.
and he throws down the champagne glasses, and she slaps him in the face. And it's kind of, I don't
She
know.
slaps
I like
him in the
that scene.
face
It's really-
first, doesn't she?
It's
a
I
slap
don't know what
and
the
then the
order
throw
is,
this-
but I like that like her reaction is like screw you and slaps him in the face. His reaction is like, well then we're not having champagne. I also like that like Monica Bellucci looks like she's 50 years old. I like that she's like they're not like soft focusing her. She hasn't had it doesn't look like she's had any work done. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's
But
gorgeous.
she's like she's got wrinkles. She's like she looks like her age, which I think is like really I don't know feels like a very rare thing. I feel like we see so much sort of people. Not just women, a lot of male actors too hit that 50, 60 thing, and you're like, these people do not look like, they don't look like they're young, but they definitely don't look like they're their age.
We've come
So
a
did you
long
like
way.
that new Scorsese one then?
Yeah, we've come a long way from like Roger Moore, who was like pushing 60
and dating teenagers, in the movies.
Yeah.
And then we actually have Monica Bellucci, who was actually older than Daniel Craig at this point by a few years. So I thought that was interesting, and I just like that they just they didn't try to hide the fact that she's a mature woman. So
And they didn't overdo it. They didn't have her be like the main girl, and she's like, struggling to like get upstairs and like.
You think they would do that?
I don't know what your concept of 50 is, but I'm less than a decade away, so I'm a little worried.
We're invading the base. Come on, bring your walker.
Oh God. So the other Bond girl we have here is Madeline Swan, played by Leah Seydoux. She had a small part in Inglourious Bastards. She had a much bigger part in Ghost Protocol, Midnight in Paris, and of course,
Blue is the
just
Warmest
before
Color.
this, she played a teenager in Blue is the Warmest Color.
Wait, is she one of the main characters in Blue is the Warmest?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is?
Yeah, not the lead, but the girlfriend.
Is she the blue-haired woman?
No, the other one.
Oh. No, I thought the lead was
Yeah, she is the blue-haired one.
Yeah, she's the
I think
blue-haired
if
one.
I remember that movie correctly.
I don't remember much.
I've
about
only
that
I've
movie.
only seen clips from it. I've never seen the whole movie.
Oh God, just. I don't need to know your Pornhub profile, Colin, please. Also,
But wait, it's
also,
not about colors though, is it?
all fake vaginas in that movie, Colin. Joke's on you, fake vaginas.
That's not what I meant. I saw clips from the story. I didn't watch just the vagina clip.
Just reading it for the articles. So like, I know that Daniel Craig is only like 15 years older than the actress, which is, I guess that would be weird other places. I feel like in the movies and in LA, that's not that bad.
And Europe.
But I guess. But like she looks super young, and she just played a teenager, and he looks his age. And I kept on getting like really weirded out and getting those Grandpa Bond vibes from that relationship.
It's nothing like the Roger Moore ones though.
Well, no,
Yeah,
but the Roger Moore ones were kind of laughable. So, and he's also kind of like paternal with her. It's a weird. it
well,
is-
that's because he watched her father commit suicide. That's how it works, I guess.
You just fulfill the role. Yeah. Is that it for Bond girls?
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's it.
and if we could look into the future a little bit.
She's coming back for
Well,
the next movie.
Q at the end of this movie says, "Oh, Bond, you're leaving," and we see him drive off with Dr. Madeline Swan, and we know she's back in the next movie. And I gotta say, I fear for Dr. Madeline Swan's life.
Yeah.
I feel like the long-term Bond love interests do not survive the
They usually
following
die.
film. Yeah,
This has never happened before, right? Where a girl has been in more than one movie, other than like cameos and shit.
Yeah, no, that's true. This is the first time that she's recurred. We have had Bonds get married before and get into serious relationships before. It does not end well for the wives.
No.
Usually in the same movie though. So she made it to the end of this one.
Are you gonna reveal the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service?
Yes, Tracy Bond dies.
Tracy
Don't
Bond
watch
dies.
It. It's terrible.
If you ever watch
Yeah,
On Her
sorry,
Majesty's
it's
Secret
just
Service.
really not good.
Sorry for the spoilers. I'm interested in the way that her last name is sort of like Sea-Doo, and I'd really be interested in her doing some commercials for some jet skis with like maybe trying to do like a really white trashy accent.
Like I feel like Saturday Night Live did sketches like that. It was like John Hamm's Ham, and like they could do Leah Seydoux's Sea-Doos.
Leah Seydoux's Sea-Doos.
She owns a Sea-Doo dealership.
And just like just really, lay it on thick with the accent.
And you kind of can't find somebody
Like, come on.
less likely to be
Come
on
on,
a
get
Sea-Doo.
yourself on a Sea-Doo. I'm Leah Sea-Doo. Get yourself over here on this Sea-Doo. Ride around on the lake. I don't think she can do that accent though. I'd like to see her try.
Colin.
Yeah.
What else you got, Harris?
This is what people came for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people came from your
Dead
conversation
silence.
stopping.
Have you guys ever ridden a jet ski?
This episode has been brought to you by jet skis.
Colin's tight 5 minutes on jet skis. We don't have any quarrels in this movie, which is interesting. We don't have any sidekicks. I guess Mr. White would be the closest thing to a real quarrel.
Yeah.
A sidekick that dies valiantly helping
No,
Bond.
it's the usual friendies get to do more stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We have lots of allies, and
Yeah.
they're a much more important part of the movie.
Yeah, Q gets to actually be out in the field.
And it's very
Which,
much
I have a problem with this. Like, if instead of like running away and like hiding in a little like closet or storeroom or whatever, why didn't he have like a gadget to like get him?
Yeah, you think he'd have.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
He's
He's
but
a
he gives all
gadgets
his
guy.
he gives all his gadgets to Bond.
But he has them though, And every time he gives them to Bond, he's like, "Don't break this," which Bond always breaks them. But like he's like, "Don't break this. This is my stuff that I give to you."
Well, he's not a field agent, so I don't know. I thought
I
that
think
was
that's a mistake. I think that's a huge mistake made by
It's a good
by the
opportunity
movie.
for them to devise like a whole sequence where he has like he could zap
Yeah.
people, he could shoot them with his watch or whatever.
Like, think about it. He's like on the little gondola, like the skiing gondola that takes you up on the mountain, and he's just like sitting there on his laptop.
And
but,
then he
like,
just
he
escapes from the
somehow just
crowd.
like gets all the bad guys. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, yes, I do.
yeah, that would have been better. But
yeah.
it's one of the worst scenes in the movie,
It's bad.
especially because of what he's doing on the laptop, which we'll get to.
well, this movie has a lot
Oh,
of
yeah, what he's doing on the left. Why is all of their DNA on it? What they do with that?
yeah, what the fuck?
Well, you want to just talk about that now?
Yeah,
since
all
it's-
right.
Yeah, we
so
have to.
he's got the ring that Bond gave him with the Spectre logo on it, and he's like putting it on a little thing, and he like is examining it.
He puts it on like a normal scanner, and then the computer is like, oh, I can see all the DNA that's ever touched this thing.
Instantaneous.
Was there like a
instantaneously.
Spectre orgy or something?
Yeah,
How is everyone's
exactly.
There's so much DNA
Yeah.
in that ring. And how is
Like
there
you get
like
the
extra
Spectre ring
DNA?
after it's been in all their butts.
It's basically
what the
like
fuck?
Like once one of them dies, they pass it along to the
no.
next guy.
Sciara's code name was the finger. all the Spectre orgies. They basically have they got the whole organization right there in that one ring.
Welcome to the meeting. Bend over.
Yeah, that's how we check people in.
They check him in at the door.
Oh yeah, this guy checks out.
That's right. We talk about
running a
butts
slight
on the podcast.
running a slight fever.
So yeah, in like the lamest way possible of like tying all these movies together, the ring just magically has like everyone's DNA for all the villains from the previous movies. So now Q is like, oh, they're all together.
Yeah,
What links them together?
Plot convenience.
Yeah.
Lazy writing. is
Lazy
what-
writing.
Also, didn't that guy die in an avalanche as a kid? Why did they have his DNA on file?
Also odd, yes. yeah, very, very much so.
Moving along.
Nothing to see here. Now, you've complained about this Q in the past. You are not a fan of this Q.
I mean, he's not my favorite. I like an old Q. I like him old.
I do think it's like we get our first real Q scene where Bond goes there to get gadgets. They sort of turn it on its head by he teases him by showing him the car and then being like, "Yeah, this is for 009 because you're on probation."
Did you guys notice? I took this. One of my very few notes is the way he walks is really weird to me.
Who, Q?
Yeah.
How
did
does he
you
walk?
notice it?
Like his undies are bunching up on him a little
I mean,
bit.
we're live, so I could kind of
Yeah, we'll describe it as you do it.
All right. So like, he's kind of got his feet.
So Colin is standing.
Oh yeah, he's pigeon-toed a little bit. No, not
He's got
duck-toed.
duck feet.
His top ass is always like real high.
Oh, top ass. His top ass is high top ass, duck feet, and a little bit of a waddle there. Yeah.
So like he's got a load in his pants.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Nicely done, Colin.
Thank you. That's how. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I feel like I saw that happen on screen.
I did, and I think between that and Matt's dislike, I was starting to see Matt's dislike for him because I was just like, wow, he is kind of a little pissant.
Yeah.
And then he said that he had 2 cats, and I was like, he's winning me back. I was like, oh yeah, it's a little, I can relate to this guy. He's so relatable. Why can't you? How could you not love this character?
I think his hair is better in this one.
You think Q's hair? that's your big takeaway?
It's just slightly longer.
Hey, we got another of the we got Moneypenny, we got Q, we got M. We also have Bill Tanner returning for his 3rd Daniel Craig movie. Bill Tanner is played by Rory Kinnear. He was M's chief of staff. I
Oh,
found
that
this-
guy?
Yes, that guy.
Does he
that
have,
guy
like,
who's
one line
He's
or
like the
something?
4th Musketeer, though. He's with them in all the scenes where they're like helping Bond. Here's what I thought was interesting that you guys might not know. Did you know that he was also in Man with the Golden Gun, For Your Eyes Only, Goldeneye, and The World Is Not Enough?
What?
Not that actor,
what?
but the character.
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
character's name sounds familiar.
Well, he's apparently been in a lot of Bond movies,
Yeah.
but he's like always like he's M's like secretary or whatever. So it's
Oh,
so
that's nice.
you don't really know. But
I thought
just thought it
Moneypenny
bizarre
was
that they had-
technically M's secretary.
I don't. Well, Bill Tanner's then her
His undersecretary.
his over-secretary?
Oversecretary?
Wait, I
don't
just
know.
realized something. We forgot a Bond girl. There's a cameo in this movie.
Oh yeah, we got Judi Dench on
Judi
the
Dench.
Judi
Oh,
Dench
yeah.
on TV. Dame Judi Dench, who was
Her character is
basically-
speaking posthumously.
So she died in the previous movie, and she comes back via a television to give Bond a message. Or she was the reason why he went to Mexico, because she tipped
kill
him
the
off
guy.
to kill the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I have do you have more on that or?
No, that's
I got a question for you guys. So we've spent all these Craig movies establishing this whole world and getting us back from like basically Casino Royale, which was more or less a reboot.
Yeah.
We've gone back to this whole world where it's the Bond, like in a lot of ways this is the most familiar one in terms of the tropes of like Q and the flirting with Moneypenny, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and M is like, you're doing the wrong thing and blah, 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 you're grounded, and he doesn't listen to him.
Right.
Like it's very much like all those plot points are taken right out of the older Bond movies.
All the tropes.
Love it.
Now, we're in theory at the end of Craig's run, when assuming No Time to Die is his last movie, which,
it is.
you know, well, never say never again.
True.
But assuming it's his last movie, do they bring in another Bond and keep all these characters? And if so, the dynamics are going to shift a little bit because a younger Bond would be more of a contemporary of Q's age, whereas this Bond is sort of aged into being the older, wiser guy.
And they're already setting up that Blofeld who is like the arch nemesis, who's usually there for like several movies. They're setting him up. I mean, what are they just? I mean, he's got to be back for this new movie.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't
let's
set him
just.
up.
I'm all for rebooting that shit right now, but
everyone. You want to reboot everyone?
No, that's the thing. I like
like
Ray
M,
Fiennes as M.
yeah.
I like.
Well, they've done it before.
Naomi
Like
Harris as Moneypenny.
Judy Dench was in the
Yes, I
Pierce
totally think they
Brosnan.
could keep it the same, but it would change it because they have a certain dynamic. You know, Naomi Harris and Ray Fiennes and all these characters have a certain.
Well, you know what they'll do? They'll make that lame joke of like, Bond, you look different today, or something. You know?
But will they? Because these movies are a little less a little less self-aware than those older ones. They're less apt to do the tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, isn't this goofy, this stupid thing we did. They take themselves a little more seriously,
Bond,
which I
you
like.
are a female now.
What do you?
Oh, don't get people up in arms. We're gonna have a riot.
I noticed your genital.
It's Idris Elba, and they're like, Bond, were you on vacation? You look tan.
No. What do you want them to do, Harris? I feel like this is
Well,
leading somewhere.
This is why I asked you guys the question, because I actually
'cause
don't
you
have
don't
an
know?
answer.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, but like, let's say that
I want them to get somebody really different and try to like over pretend nothing changed.
like they're wearing them in the same wardrobe and everything, but they're much different sized person.
Oh yeah, it's a
Like-
different size,
tiny jacket,
Yeah,
just, like,
fat guy in a
walking
little
around.
coat. Yeah,
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 exactly.
definitely.
I want them to even like make references to like moments that didn't happen with that actor, like from previous movies. Like, remember in Spectre when we made love? And
Yeah.
he's like, yes, that was definitely me.
I totally remember that. That was absolutely my penis inside of you. No one else's. Let's get to the villains,
yeah.
because I've got a lot of complaints.
You want to talk about Bautista?
Yeah, sure. Let's jump into it.
Earlier I noticed you actually know the character's name and you're not calling him Bautista.
It's Dave Bautista plays Mr. Hinks.
Mr. Hinks. Wow, I
Yeah,
didn't.
they never say it in the movie.
I didn't. How did
Mr.
you know that?
No, I think they do say it at one point. I think they say it.
They say it.
I'm pretty sure they say Mr.
He
Hinks at
doesn't
one
say
point.
anything.
No, but I think he doesn't say anything. Which also is my biggest complaint about this character is they've tried to like. First of all, the whole Mr. Hinks thing seems like a cheesy knockoff of other names they've had, like Mr. Win and Mr. Kid and
Mr. Kill.
Yeah, Mr. Kill. Oh God. Oh Jesus.
That's real.
But and also he's got. You can bring up we've got a picture of his thumbnails because he has
Right.
some metallic paint on his thumbnails for
So-
eye gouging.
So
You
here's
can see
where
right here.
here's where I'm at is some kind of nail polish fetish really intimidating? Like, is that as intimidating as Bautista can be? You know what I mean?
Well, I just feel like it's like, oh hey, Jaws had metal teeth. What's the modern equivalent of metal teeth? Oh, we'll give him metal fingernails. It's also lame because this is the
But
only
it's not
time.
all of his fingernails.
It's the only time he uses these things too.
He's
Well, yeah,
wearing gloves in the next scene.
it would be better if he had all of his fingernails metal.
Yeah, it
This
would.
is-
It would be cooler if, like, when they have the train fight later on, that like
he tried to gouge his
tries
eyes
to
out.
gouge his eyes out, and she shoots him or something.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What about the problem that it just like doesn't look real or
Oh,
anything?
it looks so dumb.
Yeah.
Also, we know Batista was in Guardians of the Galaxy the year before this. We know he can kind of act a little bit. Why? I know they wrote the character to be a silent character, but like when you realize that you're not just having some big meathead off the street and you got a guy who can actually hold his own, why not give him something to say? Like, why not do some rewrites and just
That's not what the character called for. They should have they should have given him more like other stuff, like the fingernails thing. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, he sits in a chair for makeup for what, like 12 straight hours or something like that.
That was probably in his contract. He was like,
They couldn't
"Listen,
do more
I'll
than like
I'll
a
do nail
stick-on
polish."
piece of plastic on his nails.
That was it. That was it. He had like a minimum. He's like, I'm not even going for regular makeup. I will do nail polish or nothing.
You think the majority of the pages in his contract were about whether or not like makeup effects could be applied and
Yes,
narrowing it
yes.
down to
There was a
nail
time on
polish?
set when some makeup artist came up to him and was like, "Oh, you're looking a little shiny there, Mr. Batista. I'm just gonna powder you up." And he was like,
Get
read
away."
read my writer.
Here's my thumb.
Read my writer. You can only work on thumbnails. That's it.
Perhaps that is the case.
It
I'd like
made-
to. That's an impressive contrast.
But it made for a
Contrast.
lame henchman character, I thought.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's that lame. He has a pretty cool fight scene.
His fight scenes are good.
Yeah.
The fight scene is pretty good.
He kills a guy silently. Like, I mean, the guy who being killed doesn't scream or doesn't do anything. He just,
Which I don't know if that's.
When he
I
gouges
think
the
that's,
eyeballs
I just
guy.
think that's dumb. But
yeah.
yeah. We do have the fight scene. Do you want to?
I would have liked to be. It was kind of awkward. Like he comes into the meeting and he like kills the guy
Oh,
to
yeah.
take his place.
Before you do this, I would like you guys to explain that to me too, because it's like they basically have this meeting where it's like, hey, we need an assassin to go kill Mr. White. Who volunteers? And the guy goes, oh, I'll do it. And then immediately Blofeld whispers to one of his buddies, oh, hey, blah, 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 something. And then Batista comes in and kills the guy who just volunteered to do the assassination.
He totally whispered, like, I don't like that guy. Can we do something about this?
I don't like him.
Make
Do we
it
have
go
like a
away.
big guy with some kind of nail polish on? I'd like him to come in and maybe do some killing.
His nails.
Okay, I'll buy that. So here's the train. Here's the train fight. Which, by the way, they're on this train that's apparently taking them to the middle of nowhere, and somehow.
They asked for dirty martinis. Look at those.
And she is
They're not
wearing
dirty.
like a fancy prom dress that makes her look like Veronica Lake, and he has a dinner jacket. Like, what kind of crazy Orient Express bullshit is this?
Yeah,
Where
on a
is this-
train that goes to nowhere.
This
like,
movie's
literally.
set now. They didn't quantum leap
I'm
here.
on a
This is
train
supposed
to
to be the modern
nowhere.
day.
And they know that the train goes into the middle of the desert where there is nothing.
Now watch this. When Batista comes in, I just want you to just everyone tell me, am I crazy or does he kick this table directly into her face? Because it looks like he kicks the table right into her face, and she bounces up like that, like
Here
instantaneously.
it comes. Boom! Oh my god.
See, that
Yeah,
looks
that-
like she
that
just
looked
got
like it
a
was in
table
her
kicked into her face, and she's fine. She doesn't even have a bloody nose. I would be done. I would be like, I'm out. I thought I was with you, Bond, but I am done.
Should we do another show of hands? Who thinks her face is okay?
Yeah.
0 hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've got this. It's actually a long, protracted fight. We don't do the whole thing, but
Now she's out.
that knocks her out. Just the backhand knocks her out. The table to the face somehow was cool. I still don't. I don't know what's up with the train. I don't know how she took a table
Well,
to the face.
You know, if you had been on the Sahara Express train lines before, you would know that they've really been cutting costs, and they're putting in really cheap tables that can barely even hold up the food.
They've been cutting costs. That place is furnished nicer than my apartment. I don't think they are cutting.
I don't
costs
know.
enough.
I don't know about the budget of the Sahara Express. I don't even know if it exists.
All right, do we want to talk about more villains?
How many more? I mean, it's C, which is Hot Priest from Fleabag.
Hot priest.
Yeah. And also Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes. And
That
really,
guy's attractive?
and really nothing else.
The sea guy is an attractive man. News
I've
to
had
me.
it. I haven't a good authority. I have to take other people's word for it because I don't really see it. But this is a popular opinion.
This
I
is
think
the
it's
only
more
thing
the
I've seen him
character he
in, so
plays.
maybe it's the character thing.
It's not the character. It's him. Okay.
At least in this movie,
So
he's a big mumbler.
Kind of funny looking, googly-eyed, thinning hair, but he's got something. He's got something. He's got some charisma.
He does?
I guess.
Okay.
I didn't really like him in Sherlock Holmes. I did like him in Fleabag, but
He's in what kind of Sherlock Holmes
he
is
plays
in?
Moriarty in the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Oh.
On the BBC.
He always seems like he's
Yeah.
he always seems like he's a little bit he plays kind of the same kind of smarmy, not in Fleabag, but in Sherlock Holmes and in this, he's like the smarmy kind of know-it-all,
He is
weaselly guy.
Quite the know-it-all in this.
Looks
Yeah.
like he's got a little bit of maybe a secret constipation going on.
He,
Yeah.
I don't really know, it's kind of like an obvious character though, like he's going to be a secret bad guy from the beginning.
Kind of.
And he ends up being a secret bad guy, so I don't know. I would have been more shocked if it was like, oh, guess what? we thought he was going to be the bad guy, but he's really
Yeah,
just
this-
a-
One of my favorite
This-
parts. One of my favorite parts is at the end when he tries to shoot M, and M reveals that he took the bullets out, and his name is C. His code name is C. And so M looks at him and he's like, "Well, now we know what C stands for."
Yeah.
And it's like,
half the theater's going, cunt.
yeah, exactly. But then it's immediately ruined because then he goes careless, and you're like, no, that's not.
I was just going to say, that's one of your favorite parts because it's like...
It's like, no, it goes like this.
It was
It's like amazing, and then it immediately is like ruined. But I wonder, like, that's obviously what they meant. So
Yeah.
did they add
Yeah, I
the
think it was
careless line,
intentional.
like, because this movie's PG-13 and they can't infer the word cunt?
I also kind of wonder if, like, so he takes the bullets out of his gun that he keeps in his desk. Aren't they just reusing the same exact gag from the beginning of Casino Royale? Is that a homage, or is that just being lazy and using the same exact
Jeez.
thing?
Well, it is the same writers. They're
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just so
well,
lazy.
I hate the whole C plot line because honestly, it makes my least favorite part of the movie happen.
What's your least favorite part of the movie?
So
then?
up until
Here we
the
go.
point where they escape the base and get out, I'm like, this is the best. I'm so happy. And then when they go back to London and there's like more crap going on and they have to like, get C or whatever, and there's
Yeah, the
a
whole
good
third
half
act of
hour
this
of the
movie.
movie. Yeah, the third act. It has third act problems.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't like any of it. And up until that point, I like it a lot.
You like all the movies a lot.
But this one I like a lot. I like everything it's doing up until that point, and then I'm like, no.
You mentioned escaping from the base, which is one of the more ludicrous parts of this
Yeah, I
movie.
like this part.
So, Harris, I hope you put the whole thing on here.
Did you get the clip?
wonderful.
From the time they get out of the room.
So
So
this is them. They go to this base that's in a meteor, not meteor,
Crater.
Meteor crater, yeah,
Where they have the meteor as like a shrine in the middle of it.
which is impossible.
And the dumbest scene
That
ever.
scene's great.
That scene's so pointless. They're in a completely black room with a meteor rock in front of it, and they only go in to meet Blofeld and then
Yeah.
immediately walk out of the room.
because
Yeah,
Blofeld
just so he
wants
could
his
talk
meeting to
about
be
the
that
meteor.
way.
Just so you could talk about the
Wait,
meteor.
could you
Yes,
say
I want
it's a meteor cute?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Oh. So Bond gets tortured,
Yeah.
and then they escape from the base, and this is what happens.
And it's rather challenging for him.
So they run out the door. Bond has just been tortured with the thing that.
So that guy could have
Blofeld-
shot him. That guy could have shot him.
Blofeld was just drilling into his head with dentist drills.
That guy
and
could have
he's
shot him. That
single-handedly
guy could have
shooting
shot
a
him.
gun.
That guy should be shooting him right now.
He's shooting a machine gun with one hand, and also he just had dentist drills.
Those guys
drilled
could
into his
easily
head.
hit him.
We're-
He's in a white shirt.
Where Blofeld said this will affect his balance, his memory, all these other his sight,
Oh yeah, he just got a drill in his head.
and now pay attention. He just blew up some.
Those
gas-
guys are looking
gas
right
iron
at him, pointing the guns at him.
You can't shoot a gun like that with one hand.
Also, do you guys remember what Blofeld said this place was for? He said it was full of what? Information, which is apparently incredibly
Highly
flammable.
explosive.
Yeah, this is the most flammable information ever. Now there's a small fire there somewhere on the base. There's been a few
Basically,
minor
yeah,
explosions.
it's like a big computer lab.
It's a server room basically.
Yeah, it's a server
These servers were apparently gasoline powered because we get a very large explosion.
It's like the biggest explosion in history.
I think it was the biggest practical explosion anybody had ever done.
It looks fucking cool.
It does look cool. I'm not objecting to the fact that it looks cool. I'm objecting to the fact that at least in Quantum of Solace, they were running out of a hotel that was basically the whole thing was that it's built in these,
All right. well,
unstable power cells.
Into
So that
hydrogen
thing,
cells.
yeah, hydrogen. So that thing blowing up made sense. This one,
in defense of this movie, they've gone so far into the desert that they're no longer on any kind of power grid. So all the power for this facility must be generated itself. And the servers are so hot, they need individual air conditioners, all with individual gasoline-powered generators on them.
No, so you know what? I can throw the writers a bone and say maybe Blofeld like self-destructed the place to erase all the information.
Then
that
why
they have.
did he get the head scar?
He got the headscar from when the grenade goes off in his face.
Oh,
so
true.
that was
You're
like
right.
the fail-safe was like, if
Yeah.
anything goes wrong, we just
Yeah,
blow
destroy
the place.
it. And
even,
all the-
even
all
though
the-
it's still maybe there.
All the nerds on computers inside, like no one's running out because the place is
Yeah.
on fire. They
And
all
it's not like those
die.
henchmen were valuable because they cannot shoot.
Let's backtrack a little bit because I do want to talk about there's some interesting stuff that happens when they get to the place. One of which is that did you guys get the guy who greets them when they show? Well, let's start at the train station. They arrive on this crazy ass train, and they're left in the station out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Should I just start?
And the guy comes
sure.
in the Rolls Royce, right?
Yes. And the guy shows up in this Rolls. What kind of Rolls Royce is it, Matt?
It's called
40
a silver wraith.
Silver
Oh,
Wraith.
Silver Wraith.
Yeah. So he
Was
shows
it
up.
40, 45 or 46 or whatever?
He drives to this train station in the middle of the desert. Who is this dude? That is who is like
the Rolls
Blofeld-
Royce guy?
Yeah.
I
Who
bet
is
he
the
gets paid real fucking good.
Does he
too.
get blown up at the end?
Yeah,
like-
he's dead.
Like, look, dude, like all you really got to do is drive this Rolls Royce in the
How
fucking
did they
desert
know
or
to
whatever.
go to this
but like,
dilapidated?
you're taking
building?
dirty money, so we'll pay you real good.
Also, do you think they keep these roads up pretty good? Maybe you should buy a car that like has some off-road capability, just in case there's some boulders and shit. I don't know.
No, once you're that far out, you buy the cars to just impress whoever is gonna show
Do
up.
you random visitors?
Yeah. If anyone makes it that far, they're gonna be really impressed.
So when he drives them up to the compound, and when they arrive there, a guy greets them. And did you get like he had like a Stephen Hawking voice? The guy who's he's like
Welcome.
he's like
What?
You didn't
No,
see that?
I didn't catch that at all. I would have loved to have seen that.
I can't remember what these. I think I got the lines written down
Is
here.
he a robot?
Yeah, I think the butler might be a robot. He's like, "Good afternoon, Mr.
They
Bond.
should have given him
Swan.
that thing that Lando's assistant
I want you
has.
to know, how
like,
excited
yeah, like
we
the
are to
wraparound.
finally meet you."
Anybody know the Lando's assistant headband?
The guy who looks
Nope.
like the principal from Back to the
Nope.
Future.
He's just wearing a headband in front of his eyes. That's
No,
what
it
he
goes
said.
around the back of his head and it covers his ears. Yeah, he's a robot.
Yeah.
Lobot, that's right.
Lobot. Yeah, he's got
Don't
a
you
name.
think Lobot looks like the principal from Back to the Future? I always thought it was the same guy.
Strickland?
Yeah. He looks like
Ooh
him,
la la.
except he's wearing a thing.
Also, when the butler demands that Bond give up his gun, and he brings over this valet, who I swear to God is an uncredited cameo by Donald Trump Jr.
Okay.
Wait, but
we're going to bring this up here because you guys.
But Harris, if
I'm
they-
only slightly joking. Just it's
if they had
really
Lobot, would
something.
you have been upset with that?
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
That's a stretch.
I think.
I
see
think
it.
he's
Do we
probably
have any-
sweating balls under that thing.
He's got a bigger neck than
Do you have any?
Trump Jr. though.
Well, yeah, he definitely he bulked
got
up
more
for,
neck.
He bulked up for the role. I think that's spot on. I don't know. I think that's totally nailed it.
I kind of see it, I guess. The
yeah,
hair.
it's
maybe.
definitely.
I see it.
It's the hair. It's definitely. It definitely looks like Donald Trump Jr.
Great.
I'm only like 50% sure on that one, but I'm pretty close. Also, we've talked about this before, but never ever 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 if any of you are planning on going into supervillainy, never ever ever invite James Bond over to your base for a sleepover. It only ends one way. We've seen how many movies now, and every single time.
The base blows
Whenever
up.
they're like, "Oh, I'm so confident in my position that I'm going to bring him over. I'm going to show him a nice room, and I'm going to let him relax, and nothing could ever go wrong." And then the base ends up blowing up within hours. So this is yet another. We'll add it to the list of many times this happened. What do you guys think of Blofeld? Because we've seen Blofeld is, as you said, Bond's
Arch nemesis.
greatest nemesis.
Yeah.
We've seen him in several films years ago. Donald Pleasance is probably the best, but they're all.
I thought you liked Telly Savalas.
Telly
the best.
Savalas, yeah.
I
weird
love,
smoking.
I love that he's got like a totally different accent in that, and the weird smoking is kind of awesome. So, what did you think of Christoph Waltz as Blofeld?
I thought he was great.
Yeah, he's pretty good. You know who it was supposed to be originally?
He was better than Inglourious Bastards in this.
That's bold.
That's a hot
Wait,
take.
do you know who it
No
was
one
supposed to
enjoyed
be?
me saying that.
It was
What?
supposed to be Gary Oldman.
Oh, that'd be good.
I think he would have been better.
You think he'd been better?
Yeah. I think Christoph Waltz is maybe underused.
Okay,
in
so if
this.
Gary Oldman does that, is he doing British accent Gary Oldman or American accent Gary Oldman or like Zorg or what?
Zorg. He's just got like that plastic thing on his head.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we talking
A
about?
cold-blooded killer would have looked at the little red button on the bottom of the phone.
That's a pretty good Zorg. I've got a huge. This is my least favorite part of the. Blofeld is probably my least favorite part of the movie, and I grant you that the third act is trash too. But this is like the fourth film in a row that they tried to make it about Bond's personal life. So the story here, guys, is that Blofeld, when Bond's parents died in a skiing accident when he was a boy, he was taken in by Blofeld's father as a foster child, And Blofeld is so jealous that he spent his life.
He killed his own father.
He killed his own father because
and
he was
faked
jealous.
his own death.
Faked his own death.
So that he could go build a...
international massive criminal organization just to fuck with his foster brother.
I think Spectre was a career choice, and it just happened that conveniently makes him the nemesis of his former stepbrother.
Except that he kind of throws the whole thing away just to screw with Bond. Like everything that he does in this movie is trying and failing to mess with Bond's head.
Yeah, like I really hated my stepbrother, so I faked my own death. So maybe I can get him someday. You know.
Oh, I thought you were saying that like this is your story
Yeah.
too. You were like, oh, I totally found it really relatable. You guys didn't. I mean,
We're
who
getting
hasn't,
This is
deep
my
here.
exact personal story.
who hasn't killed their father and harassed their stepbrother for years?
Colin's actually
yeah,
like
I
a
used to actually also
megalomaniac.
be named Oberhauser. No, I wasn't. But yeah.
A little bit clarification.
So anyway, so he's like, yeah, you know, like I faked my own death and killed my father because I really fucking hate that guy, and I'm gonna get him someday. I'm all set up, but in the meantime, I gotta, you know, make some money. But clearly, I'm evil, so I'll just set up an evil organization that, you know, does evil stuff.
I just feel like it's, once again, I feel like it's like a weak justification to try to make this a personal story about Bond, when Bond already has his thing, is that like he's so dedicated to serving Queen and country that he can't have any kind of a personal life. That works in all the old movies to make him a three-dimensional character, and here it's like they always have to have some like Rami Malek's going to be like his long-lost nephew who, who didn't get a Christmas present from him on, it's like, it's gonna be so, like, I just don't know, like, where does this end and why do they have to keep on doing this? Because Blofeld used to be like this really scary, terrifying dude, and now he's just like, Dougie, who is which is the Goldmember reference, because that's literally, Goldmember came out 13 years before this.
Yeah.
And it had this plot point where Austin Powers and Goldmember, or not Austin Powers, Austin Powers and Dr. Evil are long lost brothers, and Dr. Evil finds out that his real name is Dougie. And it's like, that came out 13 years, that was spoofing this movie 13 years before this was made, and they still fucking made it.
Yeah.
Like
It's the
nobody said,
weakest-
wait, did you guys see
feel like-
the third Austin Powers movie? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
I feel like stuff like this interests younger audiences. You know, like
Elaborate.
like the 12, 13-year-olds. They're like
Kids with stepbrothers who are like, fuck that guy.
exactly.
Maybe that's the truth. My brothers are all biological, so like that's the difference. That's where I'm not connecting.
But
here.
you never wanted to create an evil empire to take one of them down.
Well, they're biological brothers, so it wouldn't be the same.
But you did you or did you not want to? No.
I mean, that's a constantly ongoing
Yeah.
thing.
Did they
Whichever
listen
one
to-
of us
do they
comes up
listen
with
to
an
the
evil
podcast?
empire, whichever one of us, it's agreed upon. We all understand what's going
Right,
on. Whichever
right,
one
right,
of us
right.
comes up with the evil empire first.
Is that what you talk about at
Well-
Thanksgiving? So how's your plans for your Spectre or whatever? It's pretty good. I got a couple of murders, but
Got a volcano base that
I
I'm
don't know
working
if
on
they're
pretty
good.
good. It's kind of a DIY project now. I don't have enough henchmen to really get it going. But yeah.
So it looks like a volcano, but more like one of those volcanoes for like a science project from a school.
Yeah,
We're working on it.
Can't fit a lot of people in it. It's made out of paper mache. No, my whole thing with the Blofeld thing is he's supposed to be Bond's scariest enemy, and on top of everything, this Blofeld is like, he doesn't even come close. He doesn't even come as close as Silva did in the last movie to beating Bond. It's all this grandiose like pontificating about the soul and the cuckoo and the meteor, and it's just a bunch of useless, pointless fucking babbling.
But
he's
also
so
creepy.
He's totally ineffectual. He gets nothing done in the entire movie.
The thing that bugs me the most is that Blofeld is not his real name. He changed it to that.
He chose that. Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Do you think he got to Hans Blofeld and he was like, I think it needs a Stavro.
Ernst.
Von Suckass? No, Blofeld. That's what I need.
Hans suck ass.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was heads or tails on that, and Von suck ass.
All right. What else? So we've done the villains, the girls, the gadgets.
Yeah, we gotta. I mean, we've gone through most of it. We might be at the end here. I don't know if we.
Well, why don't we show this cool clip of Austria? Just
Oh
'cause
yeah.
it's
No.
beautiful.
So yeah,
Oh,
we'll talk about the DB.
Are you
a
doing the
little bit.
Austria one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of my notes. I just imagine someone having to do like a Postmates delivery to this guy.
Yeah, because he's a shut-in, right? So he's definitely not getting his own groceries.
You gotta go across this 5-mile lake to get to the one house in the snow mountain.
Where's my Mendocino Farms?
So the whole time I'm imagining like instead of he's doing this, but he's holding just like a shit bag of fucking Austria burgers, and he's like trying to look at the instructions, like, okay, go past the open door, walk on the creaky planks.
It is gorgeous though. That's like this movie has a few shots. It's not. It doesn't look as good as Skyfall, but it has a few shots that look almost as good. And then he goes into Mr. White's basement, and we get. You can pull that picture up because as long as we're talking about stuff that looked cool, Mr. White's basement looks pretty awesome. Production designers did a great job here.
I prefer the boat ride up to the house. I think that's prettier.
Well, than the basement of the
You know,
shut-in.
I'm
a horror movie.
I'm
It's
gonna
a little dark.
I'm gonna reveal something about myself here. I like movies with snow in them.
Nice job.
They're clapping for snow.
Yeah.
You know, because it comes from like up in the sky and
Yeah.
it comes down towards the ground.
I already knew both those things. We're on the same
Well,
page.
the way it
What's your
does it though,
favorite
it's
snow
so
movie?
Get out of my head, Colin. We both know about snow.
What's your favorite snow movie?
I don't know. I'm gonna flake on this question
There's too many.
because snow comes in flakes.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah.
That was cold.
Yeah.
Ice cold.
Ice cold.
Oh, it's rough stuff here. Another scene I thought looked really cool was the scene in the restaurant. That when M meets Moneypenny and do you guys see that restaurant? It has all the crazy pictures on the wall.
Harris is big into
What are you talking
production
about?
design.
I'm big into the production design, but I found out this actually isn't production design.
It's an actual restaurant.
This is an actual restaurant. This restaurant's called Rules.
I don't remember seeing this part of the movie.
Yeah, it's where Moneypenny meets Q and M.
And they plot to kill.
What are they talking about in this scene?
They're talking about how they can't help Bond. But
Oh,
this
this is when he's like, oh, they're surveilling all of us.
Yeah,
If we do
exactly.
anything, they'll see it.
And it looks like an old school steakhouse.
yeah, I
It looks
remember
like
that.
the kind of place that a guy like M would have a meeting. But it's called Rules without an apostrophe, even though it was founded by Thomas Rule in 1798. So it's like almost as old as this country.
Do you want
And-
to
Oh, the
talk about
sunglasses.
this?
This is better. Let's talk about this.
Oh yeah, let's talk about these sunglasses.
Look at those.
Those are probably like $500 sunglasses, maybe more.
You know they're expensive because they paid for product placement in this movie. So to describe to you, if you've seen this movie, you probably don't remember these shades, and it's because
He
there's
only
a
wears
scene.
them for 5 seconds.
Not even. I think it's like maybe like a second.
He's
and a half.
inside and like running towards the door
Without
and then,
sunglasses
And then in the
on.
next shot, he's got these sunglasses on.
He shoots two
the
guys.
guy, and then like walks away. And then in the next shot, they're not there.
So literally somebody. So I don't know if they. I hope they were getting billed by the minute for the product placement because this is.
I feel like this is a situation where Daniel Craig is like, yeah, it's bright, it's hurting my eyes. Can we give Bond some sunglasses in the scene? And they're like, oh, sure, the most expensive ones we can find.
Yeah.
And those are them.
What else?
I
You
think.
got?
Well, they
I
have
think
to
we-
look like
we-
their
I
first
think
gotta
we're
wrap
at the
the-
finale.
Let's talk about the-
I think
yeah,
we're
the
at the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the finale is one of the most ridiculous parts of this movie because they try to tie it in again to the older movies, and Bond walks into the old MI6 building that's, it's been destroyed.
It's condemned.
Yeah.
condemned,
I mean, the
yeah.
setup is that he and M and Moneypenny and Q are all together now, and they're all going to team up to take down C and Blofeld.
Yeah. And he walks through the building, and it's like, it's been arranged in such a way that it's like a fun house where there's like arrows telling him which way to go down which hallway, and like a graffiti. His name is graffitied on the wall.
It doesn't have silly mirrors though that make him like fat and skinny.
Although I wouldn't put it past them. And see, this is my whole thing. I'm going back to the Blofeld thing. Is like, how would you like to be one of the henchmen that works for this organization, where you're at Kinko's at like 3 a.m. being like getting photocopies of Dame Judi Dench's face, and you're like, yeah, my boss. I mean, we do some really cool stuff with like terrorism and all this, but he's on this kick with his little brother, and it's really weird. So now I don't know, we're making
I need
some
like
kind of
9
weird.
pictures of this little old lady here.
Yeah, we're making some kind of fun. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and it's so I'm out there, I'm looking, but it's just, I mean, it's,
I
when it's
also
good,
they
it's-
spend a lot of time where he's just standing in front of where they spray painted his name on the wall, and that shot is really long. And I was just thinking about like, what if the like henchman guy had spelled his name wrong?
James Bunt.
James Bond.
Or what if, by the way, the only reason he's in this building is because he got captured the henchmen rammed M and James Bond in the car. They were supposed to take both M and James Bond. That was an important part of the plan, but 3 of them got James Bond out of the car, black bagged him, threw him in another truck, and they ignored M, who escaped, which you couldn't have one guy sit by the like 2 guys couldn't grab Bond while the other guy was like, I'm going to keep an eye on the unconscious dude who's not.
Well, he killed all his henchmen in the escape.
Are
scene.
you
There's
submitting
like
your
3
resume
guys
to any
left.
of these, like, evil?
You'd make a good goon.
You would.
Yeah.
You've got real goon
I
qualities.
feel like I would at least not make the stupid mistakes these guys have done, and I would never invite James Bond for a sleepover. So there's a couple of things that I would do right. But then they take him to this place, and he somehow miraculously escapes, and then there's like signs to tell him where to go. So were they planning on him escaping? Was this all? In
No, they were
anticipa-
just supposed to take him there. He just got to kill them.
And then they were gonna
because he's,
they were gonna take him there and uncuff him and be like,
yeah,
"Go
they were
into the
just gonna
funhouse."
toss him in there.
Yeah, just like a hedge maze.
But he woke up a little too quick, and he's like, I gotta kill these guys because they're baddies,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
here we
he's walking through this place, and then he sees this is what I'm talking about. Is like somebody had to go in here
This part sucks.
into the gun range and be like,
Who was turning the lights on? How was there power to this
who
building?
ran around and stuck James Bond's face on all the targets? Who set
Yeah.
these targets up?
What kind of tape did they use?
This is the old MI6
Did they get their
headquarters.
tape at like a Staples, or they don't have staples in
This
in
is
the
the old
UK.
MI6 headquarters, which blew up in the last movie, so
And
it's
look at
abandoned.
all this,
so you'd think it also would not
red
have power.
rope- red rope licorice.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah, what is
touch
the point of all the
rope
red
licorice.
string? Like, I'm a little confused as to whether or not it actually is part of the explosive
I
charges,
think that's how they do the implosion.
or if it's
thing.
decorative.
But
At times it seems decorative. Like they attached a bunch of it to the female
oh, it's
hostage.
definitely. I think it's like a real thing, but I think some production designer was like, "Oh, they use these little strings. Let's go nuts."
Yeah, do you think they get
but
paid
how does
to
that
use
make
their
sense?
likeness? Do you think they get paid to use their likeness?
I don't know. I'm more curious about like in.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I bet they do.
In the reality of the movie, how do they find these headshots of all these people?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in their big information thing.
Like, you do not want to be Blofeld's assistant because you end up with these stupid fucking jobs. And also, at the end here, he
maybe
sees-
that's what exploded at the lair. Like they're really expensive copy machines.
that's why they couldn't get color photos. And here he's shooting at this pane of glass, which is stretched across the entire room, which somebody also had to
Yeah.
put.
So
and-
what
and
was
install
that? What was that in
bulletproof-
MI6 headquarters before it was a condemned building?
I don't know. Apparently, a room with bulletproof glass across the front of it. I have no idea.
A really big room that's
Yeah.
all made of bulletproof glass.
I don't know. Or else Blofeld had them install the bulletproof glass. I have no idea.
Whatever. Like I said, the movie's not as good after they blow up the first layer.
Yeah. So
Up to
then-
that point, it's fucking awesome.
But Bond finds a way to get out, and then Blofeld tries to fly away in a helicopter, and we get.
And they've
this-
cleared the entire building for demolition, but in the basement, they somehow left a James Bond speedboat.
So I know there's like not a lot of waves on the river, but like a boat like that is not still, you know?
And if you've ever fired a handgun, you know that from shooting at a stationary target from a stationary place, it's hard to hit something like 25 feet away. He is shooting this helicopter at a great distance from a moving boat.
Like
with-
they were writing this movie, and they're like, "Shit, how's he gonna catch up to him? We need a way for him to like get to Blofeld."
I kinda
What
feel
if
like-
he just shoots it down with a handgun?
From that distance, I kind of feel like a pistol might not even like puncture the side of that helicopter.
No.
I don't know that it's...
You can't, you wouldn't hit anything. You can't hit
Yeah, well, I
that.
definitely don't think you'd hit it, but I think even if you did, it would ping off like a BB.
You might as well have him fucking lasso it with a fucking...
Now that I'd be into.
You might as well have him say yeehaw when he does it.
So this crashes. It's a pretty cool crash. It's just stupid. The entire idea of it is stupid.
So where are we at? We're at the end of the movie?
We're at the end of the movie where Blofeld is. He ends up injured on the side of this bridge. Bond comes up to him, and Blofeld starts telling him to shoot him, which is another thing I don't understand, because
What happened here? Let's go into
I don't
this
know.
other zone.
Okay,
I don't know.
all
We
right.
got it.
I think everyone understands what
I don't-
went on there.
I don't really get why at the end Blofeld is telling Bond to shoot him, because it's not like he's not Silva. He's not suicidal.
Because Bond...
He wants to beat Bond. So why isn't he trying to survive so he can come back and beat him again? And I'll tell you why.
He wants to make Bond look bad because Bond is an assassin, but he's more than an assassin. But he doesn't want people to think he's just an assassin. Because he's more than an assassin.
That sounds like a song. That sounds like a
More than an assassin.
That's
You
not-
thought I was the same as an assassin, but I'm more.
That is exactly what I had in my head when I said
Really?
it sounded like a song. Yeah, no, you nailed it. No, I'll tell you why. It's not because of anything in Bond's story or Blofeld's story. If you want to like stay true to the characters and everything, it's from the Mallory thing where he tells C, the license to kill is also a license not to kill.
Oh yeah.
And that's like we pay it off with Bond not killing Blofeld, even though A, it doesn't make any sense not to kill Blofeld, and B, it doesn't make any sense for Blofeld to be wanting to be killed there. It's both of it's dumb.
It's so we can come back in the next movie.
You know
is
what
so
I
come
like
back
is
in the
the
next
parts
movie.
of this movie that come before this part. I think I've said it before.
All right. Do we want to? Are we ready to rate this thing?
I'm ready.
I was born
Wait,
ready.
I can check my
Alright.
notes while you guys rate it.
So yeah, we do a rating system here. It's a 00 scale. So it ranges from a 001 to a 0010.
Oh, I did have one.
Figured
I did
0010
have one
out,
more
guys.
note. Since Bautista had those thumb things, I think he should have done like more thumbs up gestures. You know, like more like a Fonzie type of villain.
or like I think you should
There's
use
one
them as
part where
bottle
you think he's
openers.
dead, and he gets up and he wiggles his fingers to
Yeah, but
start.
he's got gloves
he should
on.
have done wiggle the
Yeah.
finger to thumbs up, like I'm alive.
Hard agree, Colin. Hard agree.
Ayy.
Yes, we don't always see eye to eye, but I am.
And he doesn't have
100%
any
on that.
lines. Why not have him say "Ay"?
I also feel like since we're doing like the throwback movies where the main henchman gets killed before the finale,
Yeah.
it's always a fake death, and they come back for the button at the end.
Yeah,
and
he
they
shoulda
didn't-
had the
They
thumbs
didn't do
up.
that. He gets thrown off a train. He totally could have survived. I think not having him for the button is a terrible, just a terrible, terrible waste.
Yeah. This movie's got problems. All right.
yeah, that's all my notes.
Who wants to go first? Harris, I feel like you have strong opinions.
I have strong opinions. I have a lot to say on this.
All right, let's hear it.
It's actually better than I remember. You know, I only saw it the one time when it came out, and I liked it more than I did that time. I think it would be like a solidly entertaining, above-average Bond movie, except for all the things that I hate about it. First, they make it about Bond's personal life, which I'm already on record as objecting to many times. But it's even more ridiculous because the implication is that all this world terrorism going on the planet is just these two foster brothers fucking with each other, which is super annoying and just pessimistic and dumb. And also, like rewrite.
Kind of like our current, like Trump is just fucking with people, is he not?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when all your entire point of being is just a troll. It kind of just leads to
He's
negativity
just a
and
big
bad
baby.
shit happening.
Like people
yeah.
say stuff about him, he's like, "Oh yeah, well fuck you, I'm gonna start a trade war."
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's well. Let's not get political here, but
Hey.
getting a little on the edge. Thank
You're
God
the
we're
one
in
with
Los
the
Angeles.
Trump Jr. comparisons.
Yeah.
I thought that was flattering. that butler.
Why do you think that's flattering?
That valet was handsome.
Okay.
All right, put it
But
away.
also, I feel like the choice to rewrite Blofeld is like this, you know. Let's be honest. He's a buffoon. He's completely incompetent. He does nothing right. Like the bad guys in general in this movie are terrible and just not good at their jobs. But the fact that he took Bond's greatest adversary, who they're going to bring back for future movies, and made him this guy who just like the gang who couldn't shoot straight, I think is really just a shitty. It's a shitty start to that character's like return to the mythology of the franchise.
Yeah.
And finally, like a lot of Bond movies in the past have gotten docked points that I enjoyed, have gotten docked points for having lame endings. For some reason, this franchise does a really poor job sometimes of closing out that third act. And this is definitely like the inexplicable, far too easy to escape layer with the explosion, the whole sequence in the old MI6 building, the helicopter boat chase shootout, it all sucks. Everything that happens, I mean, aside from the explosion, which looks cool, everything that happens after they go to Blofeld's lair just sucks. So
That's what I said.
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
we're on the
interrupt you, I'm
same
sorry.
we're on the same page there. I mean, I totally agree.
But I know my review is going to be vastly different still.
Well, I gave Quantum of Solace a 6, and I gave The World Is Not Enough a 6, which I both think those are better movies than this. So, like, I probably would give this like a 005.5, but I'm going to round down and just give it a 005. It feels right to me.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, and that's that is only out of like respect to Daniel Craig. It might
Yikes.
even be lower.
Ow. It
Damn.
hurts so bad. Matt, do you want to go next, or should I go next?
I'll go. So, I kind of I kind of dug my own grave here, and I gave Quantum of Solace a 008, and I like this movie better than that one. Why? I actually I had seen this movie a long time ago, and in watching it this time, I liked it a lot better. But I will say, on paper, it's a really good plot. It's a good movie. Like I'm reading the IMDb like synopsis and all that.
Are you basing this on reading?
No, I'm reading it. I was like, yeah, this movie's fucking good. And really, the only thing that I don't like about it is the like you guys
The
said,
last third?
the third act.
Yeah, the
It's
third
really
act's
the
bad.
last like 15 minutes.
No,
of the
no,
movie.
it's like it's a lot of.
Well, I think
badness.
it's shot beautifully. I think the opening is one of the better openings of all the Bond films. I like the song. I think the music, the score throughout is really good.
I agree with all those things. It's still not.
I like the big bass explosion, even though it makes no sense. I like the train fight. I like the girl. I like. I think the bad guy is fine. He's not. There's been worse.
You're wrong.
Really,
Oh
it's
no,
just
no,
it's
wait.
just the third
no,
act.
sorry, there have been worse.
And I find myself like making excuses for the writers. Like, so the building's condemned. They could have set up that funhouse like months in advance.
Oh, you're turning it into Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all supposed to be part of a plan that's like, I don't know, it's going to happen eventually or whatever.
Eventually we'll get
Just
him here.
tape this picture of this guy up on the wall.
But because I gave Quantum of Solace a 008, and I like this movie better than that
Why
one.
don't you just lower Quantum of Solace's score
I can't. It's set in stone. This is a 009.
It's on the spreadsheet.
Well, you can't. They can't tie.
Those of you who don't know, Matt takes the spreadsheet very seriously.
Yes, I do.
We coming into this podcast, we almost had a problem with me not submitting my score for the spreadsheet.
It's true. You're slow and stupid.
Spreadsheets are serious.
It's your turn now.
Is it my turn? Okay.
You're slow.
Yeah, you're stupid. It's the last person in the room to realize.
So slow and stupid. Yeah, so to me, this movie is like, have you ever been to one of those like white elephant Christmas parties, where you get the gifts like,
Where are you going?
and you swap them?
I'm so curious.
This
about
movie is like
I'm
that.
familiar
It's
with that
like-
idea.
It's like, have you ever gotten you go and there's like a really the best gift, the one you really want, right? And then there's like the really shitty gift that's like, oh, like this party's still good though, and like the dummy prize, like the shitty prize, is actually kind of fun, and like I would have no problem actually getting that. So like it's like you get the good prize and you have it, but then you realize, you know what, like this is a cool thing. Bear with me.
Oh, God. Why do you make it so hard?
This is a cool thing. I could just buy this, and then someone takes it, and you're like, oh, and then you get the bad prize, but it's like, oh, you know what, this is really fun. I could never get this little stupid, shitty bad prize from any other way, and I kind of like this thing. So like this movie's like that because
What parties are you going to? What is this?
What is this? What does this have to do with the movie? What are you talking about?
so it's like the first two acts are so good. It's like it's exactly what you want, like it's everything I wanted. It's like so good. I was there with it like so much. I'm like, yeah, this is the best. Like I'm loving it. I'm loving like everything that he does like right now. And then after he blows up the base, the movie just goes downhill really hard. And I'm like, this third act is just, it's gone on too long. The movie could have ended a long time ago. So it's like in the first two acts is like when you get the good gift, and you're like, you know what, this is the good gift, but then you have to give it away, and you know that's bad, right? And you have to give it away, and you know that's bad, right? But then you're like, oh wait, like I know what that is. I could just like buy it from the store or whatever, like like I could
I feel
actually
like we're just retreading old ground. I still don't know what that has
I
to do
could
with the
actually
movie.
get that thing. So like you could go back and watch the clips from the parts that you like.
Colin, what is your number for
And
this movie?
then let me finish.
To quote Billy Madison, everyone in this room is now dumber from having listened to that.
I feel like someone out there.
Let's just move on
understands what
beyond
I'm
the
saying.
white elephant thing.
So
Let's just
then-
get to the next part.
Then you get like the bad prize, but you still want it anyways. Because to me, it's like I know the third act's really bad, but I kind of like how bad it is.
Just for the folks listening on their phones or whatever at home, how many seconds can they skip ahead before they get to the score?
You think people are still listening?
Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
The people here aren't listening anymore.
Someone is. Alex is. He
All right.
pointed at me. He gets in a.
You spotted him
He gets a
amidst
reference.
thousands of people? I
Yeah.
didn't do that.
Nicely
It's
done.
really weird how that happened. He pushed someone out of the way.
He
Colin-
trampled several children.
Colin, you got a number for us?
Yeah, most of the children in the audience are injured.
I don't know why we had so many kids in this show, by the way.
So my score's an 8. So
An 8. All right.
yeah, it's like
I appreciate that your score is at least lower than Matt's. I can't believe Matt agrees that like a significant percentage of this movie sucks, but he still gave it 90% of a perfect score.
I dig it. Okay, I dig this movie.
it's really fun to watch for like
So
most
now
of
that
it.
we've done 24 James Bond movies, where does this one rank in our grand rankings?
This is the fabled spreadsheet.
It's right here.
Everyone's getting to see it in
It's
real
in
life.
the green zone,
That's
which
way
is
too
good.
fucking high.
It's got a grand total of, where'd it go? 22, giving it an average rating of 007, which means it's a perfect
There
James
is
Bond
no way
film.
this should be above License to Kill or Diamonds Are Forever.
We have
Those
a
are both-
theory that
those are both
because-
significantly better movies.
We have
I
a
don't
theory
know.
that if the average reaches 007, that's almost better than if the average reaches 009.
It's a really dumb theory that's not based on math.
It's yeah, I don't know what it's based on, but it's true.
it's based on something.
So there you go. Casino Royale is our favorite.
It is?
Yeah.
Of all of
You
them?
knew that. We both gave it a perfect score.
Yeah, you gave it a 009 because
Truth be told, I've never analyzed the spreadsheet.
Colin is
you've
one of
never
those
seen it before,
professors.
have you?
Colin is one of those professors who never gives anyone an A because he doesn't think anything can be perfect, but he gives everyone an A minus because he's a soft grader.
That's accurate. That's completely accurate.
All right, we ready to wrap things up? I assume we're giving this a license to watch since you guys both think it's much better than it is.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I was actually borderline. I do think it deserves a license to watch, so I agree.
Uh,
It's a unanimous license to watch, but just barely for me.
So we planned a special thing for our live show. We have that I don't know if I'm supposed to introduce this or not.
Yeah, that's fine. We have
Okay.
some trivia
So
questions.
we have trivia
that were
questions,
submitted by a
and we're
fan.
also what's the other thing? Oh, we're gonna do Q&As.
If
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys
That's
have any
questions and
questions.
answers.
Or if you just want this thing to end faster.
But we're doing trivia first.
You can ask me when
Is everybody
when you
ready
get
for
to
the
leave.
trivia game?
Right. When do we get to leave? Yeah, that's the question. All
Who's
right.
ready for the trivia game? Yeah.
These questions were submitted by a
Oh,
fan.
they're starting to wake up again. Oh, we got them.
and,
we haven't seen the questions.
We haven't seen the questions. The answers are right here on. It's labeled answer key on both sides in case I didn't know to like flip it over. Okay, let's see. Which Bond film was the last one to be based on the Ian Fleming novels before they moved to original storylines?
Is it For Your Eyes Only?
To be based on the Ian, like based on a novel,
Right.
not the name, just like the story.
Oh, based on it? Oh,
Yeah.
then it's not For Your Eyes Only. It's Goldeneye.
Living Daylights?
Living Daylights, I thought.
Or
Yeah.
License to Kill
was License to
has
Kill?
the plot line where Felix gets eaten by
Oh
a
yeah,
shark.
that's true. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that has to be. I mean, that might be partially
I'm just
correct.
going to say that again.
We're,
Felix
we're
gets
going
eaten
with License
by
to Kill.
a
Anybody
shark.
else have any guesses?
That's not what I guess.
Has anyone ever seen a James Bond film?
Is
Who
anybody
has an
there?
answer out there?
Well, Matt's got an answer.
Forget them. Yeah, I say. I say.
Look at one thing without looking
did
at
you
all of
say?
them.
Yeah, I say.
Oh, we got a Moonraker vote.
He has the Living Daylights written here,
All
so
right.
we
I
said
think
that.
that's well. We knew that was like based on a short story, so
Yeah,
there are
which-
elements in License
I'm
to
going
Kill,
to skip
so I'm
these
going to give us
questions if
partial
they
credit.
stink. I'm going to ask a good one. Let's see. Which Bond villain was portrayed by an actor that actually worked alongside Ian Fleming as a field operative?
Oh, the guy from the guy who's Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh yeah, what is that guy's name?
I
Shit.
will maybe tell you.
It's like Smith or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Smith
Oh
or
no,
something.
you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're dead wrong. It's Christopher Lee.
Oh shit! We knew that though. Yeah, we're dumb.
Did
We
anyone
should-
in the
we should've
audience know
thought-
that?
We should have thought harder about that one.
Anyone know Christopher Lee?
4,000 hands just went up.
The man with the golden gun.
He was the man with the golden
Dun-dun-dun.
gun.
I think this one's an easy one. I think this is a no-brainer. Ready? Which Bond film was named after Ian Fleming's house?
Oh, hey, well, let's give this to the audience.
Yeah,
Anybody,
who
anybody
knows
shout
this?
out the answer. Which Bond film was named after Ian Fleming's house in Jamaica?
No, that would be a
Incorrect.
cool fucking name for a house, though.
Anybody?
Anybody else?
I heard like 4 things there. GoldenEye.
GoldenEye is the
Goldeneye
answer.
is correct.
My house is named GoldenEye. Let's see. Which Bond theme song was the first and only to top the Billboard Top 100 chart?
Moonraker is a good guess.
Why are we guessing Moonraker for everything?
Um,
Yeah, it's Live and Let Die, isn't it?
I just looked at the
That would be
answer.
my guess.
Which one?
Live and Let Die.
No.
Goldfinger?
I
Oh.
definitely looked at the answer and I forgot what it is already. No, it's not Die Another Day. It says it's
guess at that.
it says it's A View to a Kill.
Oh,
What's
wow,
that song?
Really?
How does that
That's
go?
the Duran Duran one.
Into the fire. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, weird. I don't know
Wow,
if that's true.
that's terrible. That's not even a good Duran
What do you
Duran
mean?
song.
Duran Duran is great, and that
Well,
song
Duran
is great.
Duran is. I'm not objecting to Duran Duran.
This
I'm
one's for the
objecting to
nerds
terrible
out there.
song.
GoldenEye
Great song.
64 for the Nintendo 64 was rebuilt by fans in the engine for which other famous game series? Unreal? That's a good guess. Which one? Did someone say something else? That's the only game engine that I know.
Yeah, it is me too.
Let's see. Oh, we're all wrong. Oh, wait, it says Half-Life. Is that its own? Isn't that built on the Unreal Engine? I don't know. I'm not a video game nerd.
All right. Well, I'll take.
Which Bond film has Sean Connery listed as his favorite? Is it one of his own, do you
I
think?
think it's Diamonds
Yeah,
Are
it's
Forever.
definitely one of his own.
He's like, fuck all these other fools.
Used to go to set. You're trash.
Suck it,
I'll go with From Russia with Love.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
I
taking
feel like
Dark
I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
that's,
that
I
is
think
Dark
that is
Horse.
right actually.
Yeah, I think you are right. I'll say Thunderball. What do you say?
Well, I said something else, but of course I said From Russia with Love.
Well, we're both going to be wrong.
It's
then.
From Russia
Oh,
with Love.
yay.
Yeah,
Let's see if it's
yay.
smart.
Hooray!
All right, the last
I feel like these
question.
questions are much more geared towards like us than a full audience of people.
Well, that's why we're not
Forget
asking
them.
They almost blew the
I
Goldeneye
can't-
one. That
They're
was a
looking
gimme.
at me.
All right, ready? This one's fun. Before they were famous, which Bond film did these actors appear in? And there's A, B, and C. A is Gerard Butler, B is Benicio del Toro, and C is Minnie Driver.
Mini Driver's easy. That's Goldeneye again.
Yep.
Wait, is it
Benicio-
all the same one?
No, they're all different.
Benicio's easy. That's License to Kill.
Yep.
Yeah. What are the other names?
Gerard
Gerard
Butler,
Butler.
was the one where they're
I
on the
don't know that
submarine
one.
at the beginning.
Yep. I think it was Tomorrow Never Dies.
Submarine?
Yeah. It was Tomorrow
It
Never
opens
Dies. Yep.
because the big
Yep.
thing
Yeah.
like eats the submarine or something.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
pretty good. I didn't think
Fuck
we do.
yeah,
I
we're-
didn't think we do good at trivia. Nailed it.
We did it.
All right.
Woo!
Yay.
All right, so now we'll open it up. If you guys have any questions or if you just want us to stop talking, just I see a hand.
I don't want to know what your least favorite is, but which movie makes Harris the angriest?
The question was, which movie makes Harris the angriest?
I'm going to
Well,
let you guys answer this.
I can
We
tell
look at
you.
my lowest rated, but
Moonraker
Well,
might
yeah,
be it.
I think
but
it is Moonraker. Yeah, he's right. Moonraker was an answer.
finally found.
Moonraker might actually be the crowning achievement of filmmaking, all cinema.
he's just
Uh,
trolling me at this point.
And Harris, for some reason, just doesn't agree with that. He found the movie offensive and painful to witness. Yeah. Do
I
you have
don't
any
know.
words about Moonraker?
I mean, no.
A pigeon does a double take in that movie.
Wait, do you agree? Do you think that's not your one?
I mean, I'm kind of infuriated by your ratings of this movie. So like, I mean, it's not so much about which movie makes me the angriest. It's which movie do you guys think is good that
No,
I hate
so
the
it's not the
most.
movies making you angry. It's us.
It's you guys. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. That's basically the right answer to the question is that I am furious when I think a movie is terrible and you guys, for some reason, think it's like a 9 out of 10.
Do you think that they could have shown Bautista like getting a manicure in a scene?
I think, yeah, like a guy with like a big metal like nail file, like a rat-tailed file, like grinding down the nails.
Yeah, if they had actually
they
done
actually
that,
grow
if
that
they had
way?
actually done that, and I thought that was good, would you think that that was good?
I would think that would be par for the course for your taste in Bond movies.
All right. Do we have any other any riveting questions? Yeah.
So when Spectre came out, everyone thought that was going to be the last Craig movie, and there was a fan theory that he actually dies in the movie when he's getting his brain drilled because
So it's a Jacob's Ladder situation.
Jake miraculously drives off into the sunset.
Oh, he's getting his
Oh, yeah.
brain drilled on the TV
as
right
we speak.
now.
He's getting his brain drilled. So
Right.
for the folks at home, the question was, well, I don't know if it was a question, but one of our audience members raised an interesting theory that when Bond is being tortured and getting his brain drilled and going to lose his memory and lose his mind and lose all these other things, which he doesn't at all, that everything from then on is just a dream sequence and he is actually dead. Exactly. I
Yeah, that
kind
would
of love
explain
this
why the
theory.
third act sucks.
This actually, if this was true and they gave like a winking nod at the end of the movie to it, this would be a
It
double
fades
10
up
for
to
me.
white at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like if there's some hint that this is actually the accurate way we're supposed to interpret this movie, I am totally on board because it would actually explain every dumb thing that happened subsequently.
But unless the
Well-
next Bond film is just a piece of ass movie, you know.
What if the next Bond
It
film
makes
is
no
like him
sense.
waking up after years in a coma and he didn't
What if-
foil Spectre and he just
Oh
and he
shit,
was,
that would
yeah.
be awesome.
What if the next Bond film is entirely in a dream sequence and they really just like throw the boundaries of reality away?
I am on board for all of this. And
Yeah, me
Spectre
too.
immediately becomes one of my favorite Bond movies if this is true.
changing the game?
I am down. I am totally down. I'm
That
so
would
in.
explain him being a different actor in the next movie after.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I'm on board. I think this is the only way to save this franchise.
Dream
I'm
sequence.
convinced. Dream sequences. Jacob's Ladder.
The question was, who should be the next Bond? I think Colin knows the answer. It's Colin.
Colin always, yeah, Colin always thinks it's Colin.
Thank you.
I don't know. People have been
That was from the audience.
People have been tossing Richard Madden from Game of Thrones around a
Yeah,
little bit. I
he
think
would be
he'd be a
good.
good one. He was good. In
Which
that
guy is he in
Bodyguard
Game of
movie.
Thrones again?
He's what's his name? Rob Stark.
Oh, right. Yeah,
yeah, he's in that Bodyguard show. I could buy it.
I heard Harry Styles wants to be the next Bond.
Is he a singer?
Yeah, hard pass. Hard pass.
Who's Harry Styles?
He was in that group.
Is he in the Jonas Brothers?
Was he in a group?
The One Direction.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, really?
I knew he was in a group.
Oh,
I
so
know
he like
some- I
was
know
in the
some-
Jonas
I know
Brothers.
some college.
I mean, not the Jonas Brothers.
It's Sam Smith. He's back.
I think Sam Smith should be the next James Bond.
What if they go in like a different direction? What if they choose somebody that's maybe like good at ventriloquism and Bond's a puppet?
Bond, played by Slappy.
Who is the guy with the stand-up guy who does the puppet things?
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham, yeah. The next James Bond is Jeff Dunham.
No, it's not Jeff Dunham. It's one of his puppets.
Oh yeah.
They make him wear all black, like a full blackout suit.
With just like a little face hole.
All right, let's do one more question. Does anyone have anything? This guy. The question was, which villain has been most underutilized?
I feel like Renard from Is It the World Is Not Enough?
Yeah.
Who was Robert Carlyle, and he was the man who could feel no pain because he
Right.
had something wrong with his brain.
He had a bullet lodged in his brain.
Yeah, and great actor, great villain actor, like badass backstory, and they did nothing with it. And that it haunts me to this day that they really just didn't use that at all.
Yeah, he could have had like we talked about this on that episode, but like he could have had a climactic fight scene where Bond is like stabbing him or something,
he
and
doesn't
like
realize
he just
it,
yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't feel anything. His like gift would be both a gift and it would be his undoing as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, it would have been a very smart way to end that movie, which was actually a decent movie, except for Dr. Christmas Jones and
I
the
heard
ending.
enormous breasts. That's all. That
Do we
movie
have
is.
any other villains?
I
that
don't know.
stick
They're
out?
all underutilized.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think
Colin's always
in
cheering
this
for the
movie he was
This
underutilized.
is another one.
Yeah.
We talked about Scaramanga too, the man with the golden gun. He
I would say that.
yeah.
I feel like
He gets
that's
a lot of
one.
screen time, but he doesn't really do
Do
much with
anything.
it.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's at least a story line that they're gonna steal it. I feel like that's a remake, like really waiting to happen.
That would be a good, if they're going to recycle old, like, because they're saying this new one might be a kind of a Dr. No throwback, which who knows how accurate that
Yeah.
is. But
That's
if they're going to
just
recycle things,
rumor.
I'm all about, like, Man with the Golden Gun is a movie that, a concept that could have been done a lot better, and I think could still be
There were
done.
parts of Man with the Golden Gun that were like almost a good movie, but it's really
like
bad.
Hervé Villachez in the bottle fight at the end?
Nope.
that would be like Tyrion
stupid.
Lannister today.
I kind of feel, what about if we just cast Peter Dinklage as the Man with the Golden Gun? I love it. I'm on board.
Great.
I mean, I think he would take that
Yeah.
role if offered.
Any other questions? Any other? All right. Well, that
think
is
that's
our
it.
show.
Great.
Yeah. Great.
Our big announcement is that so eventually we're going to be, obviously we only have one Bond film that is yet to come out left to do, but after that we're going to transition into a totally different podcast, and we're going to start doing other movie franchises. We're going to move away from Bond, and we're going to start doing much shorter franchises. 2 movies, 3 movies.
So that podcast is going to be called
License to Watch.
And
License to
yeah,
Watch.
keep an eye out for it.
Because so we said before
You don't have to explain it.
License to Watch.
we give a license to watch or we revoke it, and now we're passing that along to our next podcast.
Yeah, so
Does
definitely
everyone
keep an eye out
understand
for
the
that.
origin of the title License to Watch?
But yeah, thank you all for coming. And when the new movie comes out, we'll be releasing an episode on that. And until then, we're going to have some other content coming out in the coming months for some slightly different movies. So definitely keep listening to the podcast. And thank you so much for coming out to support us here. And thanks to
Faye Dodo for allowing us to do this here. It's a lovely place. Thanks to Alex, our engineer. She's up there
Alex.
doing the
As
lights.
usual.
She's doing the sound. There was not one mic feedback all night. Great job.
and we have a lot of other people that helped us out tonight. So.
Yeah, thanks to my lovely wife who's sitting right there. Woo! Thanks to my sister, Nicole. She helped us out.
Thanks, Nicole.
Who am I forgetting?
And thanks to the audience who
Thanks to
played
everyone who
along.
came to see.
Yeah, thanks to all
Yeah,
these guys.
Thank you so much for coming out, guys.
There's too many thousands of you to thank individually.
Yeah, the thousands.
And thank you for being so politely quiet for the entire thing. You guys were even laughing silently. I saw you there quietly trying to bottle it up.
I was told there would be more heckling.
Yeah,
I'm
not
a little
one heckler.
disappointed.
I received many threats.
Yeah.
Even one of those
And-
letters with the
and
cutout
really,
magazine letter.
Some of the things you were saying were begging for it, but and still, here we are.
Yeah.
So everyone understood the whole the Christmas party.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
for the love
All
of
right,
God.
thank you
All
very
right,
much.
yeah.
That's the show. Thank you, guys.